where everything you want can be yours. If and only if you're willing to work for them, you're willing to hurt for them, but most of all, you're willing to be first for them. Ha, look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop, like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting, it's hot. Look what I got, whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success is insane. Stay out my lane, cause I'm on a mission. I'm getting what stands in my way. Yeah, I'm a beast, I wouldn't play with me, baby. The way that I'm training is crazy, and I do it daily. You wanna talk about drive? I got more drive than Mercedes. I've never been lazy. I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha, yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Ha, yeah, I gotta be first. Look, I don't want anyone's sympathy. I understand what is meant for me. I give my focus and energy. If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But mentally, I'm undefeated. They hear that and say I'm conceited, like there's no reason. Like I don't beat them and come back again just to teach them that when you work under pressure, you reach higher measures. They'll try and bring you down, but you cannot let them, and only get better and focus on cheddar. Eye on the prize and you'll become a legend. Like, when I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha, yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Ha, yeah, I gotta be first. They don't know what's gotten into me, how'd I turn pain into energy. Through all the struggle and hurt, remember my worth, and that's why I gotta be first. Welcome to the place where dreams come true, where everything you want can be yours, if and only if you're willing to work for them, you're willing to hurt for them, but most of all, you're willing to be first for them. Ha! Look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop, like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting, it's hot. Look what I got, whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success is insane. Stay out my lane, cause I'm on a mission. I'm getting what stands in my way. Yeah, I'm a beast, I wouldn't play with me, baby. The way that I'm training is crazy and I do it daily. You wanna talk about drive? I got more drive than Mercedes. I've never been lazy. I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha. Yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Ha. Yeah, I gotta be first. Look, I don't want anyone's sympathy. I understand what it's meant for me. I give my focus and energy. If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But mentally, I'm undefeated. They hear that and say I'm conceited. Like there's no reason. Like I don't beat them and come back again just to teach them that when you work under pressure, you reach higher measures. They'll try and bring you down, but you cannot let them, and only get better and focus on cheddar. Eye on the prize and you'll become a legend. Like, when I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha. Yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Ha. Yeah, I gotta be first. They don't know what's gotten into me, how'd I turn pain into energy. Through all the struggle and hurt, remember my worth, and that's why I gotta be first.
In the words of the popular 80s band, Europe, it's the final countdown. And for the Gen Z viewers out there, this week is going to be fire. So, just 3 matches remain for each of our 8 competitors. Only 4 can qualify for the Challenge Finals, where $39,000 awaits our winners. It's time for the final week of the Snapdragon Pro Series Challenge season.
Player on top, know it. Rooftop, penthouse suite. If you really want it, gotta own it. Fight through it, we was at the lowest. Blood, sweat, tears, the components. Riding all year, now's the moment. We are not for mine, yeah. I'm making a play, the game on the line, yeah. I've been on the grind, yeah. I jump in the spot, I made it my time, yeah. Look in the sky, yeah. The stars align, no shade to shine. Can't stop it already, emotional work and devotion. We put in this time, look. You won't stop my stride. I'll just break your line. I don't tolerate wasted time. Take us down, keep fighting.
Welcome one and all to the Snapdragon Pro Series. We are past the halfway mark of the Brawl Stars Challenge season, and things are about to start heating up. My name is Barney Banks, and I am your host, and joining me in the studio, we've got Trav, we've got Ark, and we have Sunny. Team, welcome back to the studio. It's always fantastic to have you. We've had the weekend to kind of simmer off the back of some really intense matches. But Ark, I want to come to you first, because I want to talk to you about the middle of the pack at this point, because this movement is almost the most crucial. So, who do you think is going to make moves today?
For me, what an immensely exciting time, isn't it, really? Because those middle-of-the-pack teams are the ones that can really turn things all around at the final moment and have things go their way for them, hopefully. I think for Humble, especially today, a massive day for them to really show up against Nouns. I think that is going to be one of my favourite matches of the day. But certainly for Reply Totem, you know, the Mobile Masters champions, where are they going to fare by the end of this week? Are they going to be able to make it all the way to the Challenge Finals, or are they going to falter? You know, for Zeta Division as well, they are hoping, I mean, they're not middle of the pack, just reiterate that. They're dog bottom at the moment, but you know, are they going to be able to get anything on the board going into the World Finals? They've got so much to prove.
Dog bottom. Brutal. Brutal, Ark. Sunny, we've already mentioned it, Ark's already mentioned it, we have had one team parachute into this region and just decimate everything in their path, Nouns Esports. I mean, what can we identify? I've kind of given the brief outline, but what can we identify that they're doing differently? What are they surpassing the rest of the teams with?
There's definitely different elements playing a huge role in that. One of it being the meta might be just in favor of their very aggressive playstyle we've seen the last 2 weeks, and nothing has changed this week. We have the same amount of hypercharged brawlers for once, also in this week. Then also, as they said in their own interview, that they really study their opponents, and maybe our region couldn't really study them themselves because they've never played here. We don't have any comparison as to how good is Nouns against any team of NA or EA. We just have them here now, and they have been dominating. So that's not a good sign for Europeans at the moment, but props to Nouns, they're looking so strong.
Yeah, they have a very unique perspective or unique kind of path coming into this. It's quite cool, like the fear of the unknown almost. Trav? Robbie?
I'm doing good. I must say, it was a pretty fire intro, if you ask me.
Thanks very much. It was lit, wasn't it? It just doesn't sound right coming out of my mouth, does it? So rad?
Radical.
Rad, I like that. I'll stick with that one. That's kind of more my era. But, you know, we've spoken about the peak of the mountain, let's say, in our leaderboard at this point. Now let's go to the Mariana Trench of what is Zeta and Team Queso. I mean, what can be done? I mean, even if they kind of sweep their way out of this, they still might not even qualify. So, I mean, what's your thoughts on it?
I mean, first of all, you said Ark was being harsh saying dog bottom, and then you go for like the Mariana Trench. I think that's kind of a bit worse, isn't it, really, to be honest with you? But at the end of the day, I mean, I just don't think there's really much redemption at this point for them. You know, I think they're maybe getting to the point where there's just not enough time to get started. I mean, there's a possibility, slightest, tiniest chance of them being able to bring it back to a tiebreaker on that last day. But I mean, I don't even see that happening, really. They've just really been performing so badly at the moment, and it's not looking good for this competition or World Finals.
We've seen, you know, quite a few Game 5s as well from them, but they can't finish their dinner. But speaking of dinner, if you're watching this and you are eating your dinner, put your knife and fork down and follow us on socials so that you can keep up to date with all of the highlights, all of the memes, and all of the pictures of Ark's face that's going to fill up your feed. It truly is spectacular. Just go to the lower third of the screen, choose the ESL mobile that translates to your chosen platform. Now, we want to talk about the format of this tournament coming in because, you know what, we've got quite an interesting structure. Trav, I'm going to stick with you. What have our eight teams done to get here, and where are they going?
Well, I mean, obviously we started with those 2 open finals. First one, 4 teams progress, and then from the second one, another 4 teams progress. 8 teams come to the challenge season, I should say. I was about to say challenge final, and challenge season, where they play out 7 game days to see who sits at the top of the leaderboard. Top 4 then progress to the challenge finals, where they battle it out for even more cash in just, I think around about a month's time.
Ooh, indeed they do. And we're almost there. Like I've said, this is the last week of the challenge season. It's going to get spicy. So, thank you so much, Trav. Now, of course, this event being a staple in the Brawl Stars competitive calendar means that we get some of the best teams competing. So that obviously means there is something at the end of the rainbow, and it rhymes with Sunny. Sunny, what are they competing for?
Not only for honor and glory, but also some money is on the line. They are 39,000 up for grabs in the challenge finals afterwards, but already some money all the way down to the last 8th. Rock bottom, Mariana Trench, whatever you want to call it, you can take something home with you, which I love to see. Everybody gets something.
It is indeed. I think it's 2,250 for first place. We'll clarify with that a little bit later on in the show, but don't worry about it. We've briefly mentioned our 8 remaining teams, though, Ark. Who's going to be facing off today? Because we had a brief look, you know, at the end of day 4, but obviously we need to remind our viewers of the schedule. We need to see who's facing off and also which of these matches look particularly spicy. You mentioned already Humble versus Nouns is going to be a big one. Well, let's have a look at today's schedule.
Yeah, that's going to be the match number 3, and again, one that I am very, very much looking forward to as well. Zeta Division versus SK Gaming will be the first one. That is always a very, very good place to start, and certainly for Zeta's performance at the moment, they've got to pull everything out of the bag for that one. VN Esporting versus Fut Esports for match number 2, and one where Fut have rarely come out on top, at least in terms of the BSC. The final match for the day, Team Queso versus Reply Totem, one that I'm very much looking forward to. I would love for nothing less than for Team Queso to finally get one on the board. But again, match number 3, my personal fave, Nouns versus Humble.
Well. I think for me, I'm probably, like you've already mentioned earlier today, most excited for Humble going up against Nouns, because it'd be interesting to see if, for any reason, they can claw this back. It's almost like they're clawing it back for the rest of the leaderboard, not just for themselves, because there's a bunch of teams that are 3-1 right now, and if they manage to pull back Nouns from gaining any more points, that pack at the leaderboard towards the top is going to get very, very interesting for the 2nd and 3rd day. Now, I feel like today is going to be a turning point. You know, desperation starts to kick in for a lot of our teams. We kind of already smell a bit of desperation for Zeta and Queso. Sorry to lay it on thick, guys, but let's face facts. It is a fact.
There's more for the rest of the day coming, don't worry.
These teams have come too far. They've grinded too many hours to back down at this point. So we're going to be ready for some wild moments today. But Sunny, why don't you kick us off with the recap? We're going to get the recap from day 4 on your screens very shortly, because we've got to see where our teams are at, how they're feeling coming into today, and if they're coming into today on the back foot.
Well, we're going to start with Fut. Good throw over there. Fut looked very, very strong the last match day, taking a sweep onto SK Gaming, which I didn't really expect to come into. Fut now seems to be one of the strongest teams we have within this season, and they proved it once again, showing us 3 very quick maps. And as I've seen on social media, you promised, or Drage promised you 5 maps today. Let's see if this is actually going to happen.
He did indeed. I mean, Ark, we've spoken about it already a fair bunch today. Is this the day that Nouns slip?
I mean, Trav seems to think it is. I'm not so convinced. I mean, in the dressing room, he was saying, Humble are my goats. They are my goats as well, but I just don't know whether any team at the moment has got what it takes, because Nouns are just looking so good. And it's been fantastic to look on socials as well and see how the response has been across many of the other regions going ahead into Worlds. You know, I remember looking on Twitter, Sans saying how much he is now valuing Nouns, how much he actually wants to play Nouns in the World Finals, and everyone really giving them the credit, which is due to them. I think that they come in and really caused a huge ruckus. I think many of the teams in now the EUR&MENA region kind of reconsidering where they stand a little bit in that global scene, but certainly, again, they stood strong last week. I'm kind of expecting them to do the same this week.
Trav, you've got to back up your stance a little bit, don't you? So what, you know, back Humble, like we have spoken about it a few times. You said it last week when we had day 4 of the competition. You said that they could have Nouns' number. What's your reasoning behind that?
I mean, I just like them. Maybe it's a little bit of bias taking over, I don't know. But I think, to be honest, I'm just going to predict everybody beating them until someone actually does, and then I'll feel pretty good about myself. But, you know, I do think Humble have a chance. You know, I think they were kind of a little bit of an underdog coming into this competition from day 1. I said, you know, I think they've got a chance to head into those challenge finals. But I think at the same time, Filippo's been a massive, massive helping hand for them. He really has brought this team to another level, and I think that's a level that could possibly beat them. If the drafts are right, if the gameplay's right, and some things go wrong for the side of Nouns, I think Humble might have what it takes.
Ooh, well, we're going to have a very quick look at the leaderboard after this recap, because I want to see if we can all kind of put our heads together and we can formulate some sort of cut-off point at this point in the competition, because it's actually quite easy to separate this leaderboard that we have, whereby we can cut off what the, is it 4 losses and 3 wins that's going to be in for a tiebreak? Is that not even going to happen? Because we already have some teams who are still on 0 points after 4 matches. Zeta Division on your screens right there being one of those teams. Can we formulate some sort of cutoff point from what we see right here? Ark, let's go to you first, mate.
For me, I think I still stand with what I said last episode with Sunny. I think for me, Nouns, Humble, really going to be looking to be in that challenge finals along with Fut Esports. It's going to be a question really for me on that number 4 spot. I still think that VM will be able to tie it forwards and carry on and be that top 4 team, but there is still some movement here. For SK, surely a tough one to turn things around, but not too little too late. For Zeta, you really are expecting everything to go right for them and everything to go wrong for someone else in order to even stand a chance at that tie break.
Yeah, when you still have, 0 points on the board after 4 matches, not only, it's kind of like your destiny is not in your hands. Like, you not only have to sweep everyone, but you also have to rely on certain people losing certain matches in order for the points to kind of level out. That's why I kind of want to see if throughout the day we could possibly see if we can formulate some sort of cutoff point. If not, probably tomorrow, because we'll only have 2 days of matches left. Now, before we get into our first match, we also have another cheeky graphic for you guys where we look at the most picked and most banned brawlers from, I believe it is from day 4, not overall. But Sunny, is this a surprise for your top pick brawlers coming into this?
Not really, honestly. Nani making its way into the meta also reflects here in the Snapdragon Pro Series, being spot on the first place there. Lou, he just got the hypercharged buff. What more can you say to that? Hasn't really been a stick-out brawler just before that. Otis, as long as we have Team Queso in this season, of course Otis is going to be up there, as well as Mech and Stu, just some of the favorites of the teams that are playing here. Don't know if it would look very different across other regions. I do believe this is kind of the EMEA meta at the moment.
Lovely, jubbly. Well, we've got our bands as well ready to throw up on here. Trav, not to throw up on here. Why would you do that, Trav? Why? That's disgusting. So, Shelly, obviously not a big surprise, but as we go down this list, are any of these kind of popping out to you as, oh, I didn't realize that?
It's kind of not the ones that are on the board that are popping out to me. It's the ones that are not that's my issue. Like, where's Bull really across these top brawlers, bands, and the top picks as well? He really kind of just seemed to just drop off a little bit because he wasn't on either of these boards. But, I mean, Shelly is no surprise, really. Eve does come as a bit of a surprise to me. I'm not sure if it's kind of just like the maps that are in rotation at the moment that makes it such a valuable pick. But, yeah, those are a little bit surprising to me. I think Bull not being there and Eve being so high up on those bands is a little bit unusual for me.
Well, the stage is now set. We've kind of set the scene for all of you. Now it's time to focus in on our first match of the day when our 2 colossal teams step into the arena. We've got 3 back-to-back days of matches this week, so it's going to get absolutely unbelievable. Can't wait. Today is vital. I believe today is vital mostly for morale stepping into this, because if you start on your front foot, and you've got back-to-back matches every day, I feel like you can gather some sort of momentum. So, we've got Zeta Division going up against SK Gaming. Right, Sunny. The Zeta Division basically have no choice, and I believe it's kind of the same situation for SK at this point, right? Let's talk about Zeta first.
I mean, I remember where we were at this point last season, where we just were praising Zeta Division. Nobody could stop them, and now it looks like they can't stop anyone at the moment. Maybe they can beat SK Gaming, but it's going to be a very tough one here. Zeta Division looked so strong at the start of the season, whereas SK Gaming is looking stronger and stronger now. Question is, Zeta Division, can they find back their energy, their power that they have at the start of the season, or is this season 4 just not meant to be for them? It's also Worlds coming up next week, so they should be at their top performance right now.
Can they find their mojo? Ark, what are you thinking? I feel like it just seems like they just, like we've mentioned quite a few times, just can't finish their dinner. Like, they get it to game 5 and then it all kind of falls apart.
Yeah, they became that team that just can get to a 3-2, but not be the team that come out 3-2. They always come out 2-3 or getting swept, and that's a really unusual place to find them in all honesty. And in regards to the question, can they do it today? They have to. I think this is actually one of their best potential matches to have under the situation that we have with SK Gaming being on that 1-3. I mean, if Zeta can win today, then they're going to be able to be looking just a little bit more likely to be able to form some form of tiebreaker. And when I say likely, I mean that is going to be at the very best they could possibly achieve. But SK are in a decent spot. I've got to be honest though, I'm surprised that they are struggling a little bit in the competition at the moment. Coming in, we kind of expected them to be right at the top, and they just haven't quite made their way forwards yet. So for them today, especially after last week getting swept by Fut Esports, not an easy thing to come back from in terms of morale.
Agreed. Trav, you got the SK tattoo on your ankle. I can see it. What is the situation going into this game? I'm imagining that you're backing them.
I'm actually not. No, I'm saying Zeta Division. I think, as I said, I think if there's any day where they're going to, other than... oh, look at that.
That's what you get for that. SK
Nice
are rolling in there. Well, they're not in the grave, but you know what I'm saying. SK are upset with you right now.
They almost are in terms of SPS, so they're almost in the grave. That's the thing, you know, Zeta for today, if they manage to win, it's kind of like, you know, taking them down with them, I think, in terms of that. And I do think they're going to be able to do it. That's, in my eyes. Zeta Division, they you know, they have to make a stand. Last week they had to make a stand as well, obviously, but they didn't. I just think, as Alex said, I think SK... They're just not looking their best right now. Same as Zeta, obviously, but I don't know if I just can't help but have a bit of a feeling that Zeta are going to start doing something because of how well they've been doing all year long. You kind of expect something to happen, but I mean, even if it does, it might still be too late.
I mean, ultimately, they're both on the struggle bus, let's be honest. So it's kind of a must-win for both of them. SK obviously have that little bit more of a chance to kind of push their way up the leaderboard, but ultimately, they're both really struggling at this point. Now, I feel like if we look at this statistically a little bit, Zeta have gone the distance, gone to, you know, 2 and 3, like you've already mentioned, Dark, against some of the... Well, they're against Nouns and Fut already this season. So they've got it in the bag. They just can't get it over the line. What do you feel like they've been lacking the most up to this point? Do you feel like it's team synergy they're lacking? Is it almost the confidence they're lacking? Because, you know, this isn't the Zeta that we're used to.
Yeah, it's unusual because in that first week where they had very close score lines, we were thinking, okay, well, maybe it's just a bad day at the office, you know, 2 and 3. Going into that second week, it was just like, these are sweeps. What is going on? Like, how's it going from being just down to a game here or there to being literally like, we're not getting anything on the board here. And I think historically as well, SK have got some good results against Zeta, so it just depends on how they bring things out today. I'm kind of siding a bit more of SK, if I'm honest. I mean, I kind of feel like it could be like a 3-1, maybe a 3-2 again, but I mean, I need to see more from Zeta today. The draft in for Kaboom Canyon, though, the Rosa Band, the Buster Band, and the Colette for Zeta picks up even a bit. Quite like those, to be fair. The Pam Band, the Lou, and the Stu for SK Gaming, and Bell and Meg says more of a safer idea coming from their draft.
Right, well, casters, please get both get ready and move on next door as a crucial day commences. We're going to kick off day 5 of the competition here at the Challenge season with Zeta Division versus SK Gaming. And you have to say your predictions as you get over there, and I'll get mine privately from Trav.
Well, he better not change his mind because, you know, that is, you know, tended to happen. But Sully, give us your thoughts. You know, I mean, you were kind of like slightly nodding. I could see out of the corner of my eye when I was saying that SK have got the win here. So where's your head at?
Usually you're the copycat, but I'm going to be it today. I would also go with SK simply because I love talking about the meta. We talked about it before today, and I just feel like it should suit SK Gaming's playstyle a tiny bit better. Zeta Division needs to get going and play a bit more aggressively to be able to turn things around. They do. They're going to pick up the girl there, which I love to see. That's exactly what we need in this current meta. Also, I don't think we see that much of a bull anymore, even though we have Fut Esports still around, just because you need to have something aggressive that can also deal with those hypercharged brawlers. And I see your face, you want to say something so badly.
I mean, Maisie, I don't know.
I love it.
I really don't. I'm sorry, I don't. I mean, if you land the shots, the hypercharge can cycle in a really nice manner, right? But I think for me, in terms of like that batch of hypercharged brawlers that came in, I think it's one of the weakest for me. I mean, it just hasn't really demonstrated much that we've seen in terms of meta coming in off the back of those new changes. I'm still waiting for it, to be honest. You know, it's got some great cycle potential, but it works much better in maps where you've got some coverage, and Kaboom Canyon is just so open, but it's going to be hot zone, so I don't necessarily mind it as much, but I don't know, I still feel like it's just not one of the best of choices. Nonetheless, let's see on that left-hand side whether Yoshi can make it work.
I was about to say, it doesn't look to me like a Kaboom Canyon draft, but there we have it. I don't mind the Maisie, honestly. It's not too bad against Gary there on the Carl, doing a great job there, getting taken out there in the end. Still, his two teammates are standing in the zone. SK Gaming already in the lead with 30% now. It's going to be a tough one for Zeta Division to even get some space in the zone, as long as Mac is still standing there.
Well, certainly. Yeah, now we're going to utilize that gadget there on the cheat cartridge. Good for him, being able to stay a bit more in the mix, and again, with that additional radius on the damage station, going to help him out to keep suppressed their OP and IKaos. But being out of mech, not really the ideal scenario for OPE, so making vulnerable for this attack from Geru comes in, clears up house, but nonetheless, he's going to try to continue the assault onto Chaos, who's actually taking a lot of shots. Finally, SK though will clear things up and continue forwards towards a 50% margin.
What SK really needs is a mech in the zone. As long as this this tanky brawler stands in the zone, Zeta Vision can't really make up for that, even with Noe's turret now coming down. Yoshi finally gets a takedown on the left-hand side. Meow is falling, and up there, Chaos also gets rid of the Carl. Zeta Vision is playing it so well, but they just can't get a foot into the zone at the moment. Finally, another takedown. Yoshi has fallen. 3v2 situation. That could be the moment where Zeta Vision turn things around.
Well, they've got little time to do it. Meow taking a few shots there from OPE, just bouncing his task. Can't quite connect there with a swipe onto Meow, but the shots to follow up will. However, surely going to be out of mech now as Geru comes in and making him there vulnerable, but the shielding is going to keep him alive in the mix. It's just Nowie now, and now SK can get themselves into much better spots. Yoshi from the left-hand side. They are going to place down the nest egg there on the right-hand side, but there's not really too much time. SK, they are being suppressed and not actually on the zone. With time ticking, Zeta are catching up.
Yoshi having some troubles there on the left-hand side. He's falling as well. 2v3 situation once again. He really should have stayed alive there. Now it's going to be Zeta Division taking over the lead with 79 to 74%. Only 20 more, and Zeta Division claims the win after such a great start from SK Gaming. Takedown onto Noe though turns things around once again as we again have that Max standing in mid.
Yeah, SK have got to brute force this, and they've done a decent job at OP on the left-hand side, getting suppressed there from Meow. As Yoshi trying to make his way forwards. He's got to stay alive. Nice cheat cartridge there from Nowie. He's going to be able to come back in for the second round. But then meanwhile, Zeta are on the zone, and they're going to be taking this game now as a result of Gare on the top of the screen. What a turnaround, and not good stuff from SK, considering at the beginning of the game just how much of a lead they had.
What just happened there? Zeta Division turning things around very well played by them in the second half at least. SK was almost leading there with 70%, and Zeta Division somehow got a grip onto that game after all, learning how to play against your opponents even within that game. And now I have to agree with you, Ark. I don't really feel like Maisie could do a lot against the car on the left-hand side. Meow and Garrett did a great job at just sneaking behind the rows of SK Gaming and pinching them in the mid.
You know, I'm just waiting for that time where Macy really impresses me, and they can have a couple of moments, but they have been few and far between this season. OP, though, has got to stay in mech a bit better this time around. It's all good just keeping the suppression fire onto Zeta, but it's when you're out of mech that you can't really support your team, and that's where, you know, the tides turned. You know, when SK had mech on the mid, they've got that 32% lead, but then as soon as it goes, this is where Zeta capitalized down. Arceus falls there, and Yosh is the last man standing. Not the best of starts for SK. They got a good start in terms of the lead, but the mid control is now nowhere to be seen.
Finally, SK realizes they need to switch lanes. They need to keep Maisie on that Carl, because every single time Garo decides to go into OP, he falls out of mech, he goes down, and they lose mid control completely. Every single time OP does stand in mid, they collect some percentages. But for now, Zeta Division has taken it over pretty quickly already at the start, and now they're not giving it back at all.
Yeah, it's just not working out too well. Garrett's just being far too aggressive, and is the thorn in the side so far of SK Gaming. Now, as they approach 70%, hatchlings will come in for Zeta, and that's going to help them out considerably so here. Again, just not giving up an inch on that mid. OP needs to get back in mech, and he's only 730 HP now. Yoshi clears the right. That might open up some doors, but at 90% on the zone, more or less, I mean, SK are so far behind, and with that double takedown there, this one is done.
Zeta Division standing in the mid now, only 4% more to take, and they of course get it. So well played by them, just taking over mid control. First takedown onto OP was such a crucial one. As soon as he isn't in mecha anymore, SK Gaming lost complete control.
You know, I didn't necessarily mind the Meg, but the Macy just really didn't provide anything at all. Bell is always a good brawler on Hot Zone, on Ring of Fire rather. It's definitely, you know, a safe pair of hands, like I always say. It's not going to bring anything too flashy, too special to the meta, but, you know, it's just that Macy's not it. It really is not it. And until I see it be something special, I'll definitely think about it in terms of, you know, call-outs when it comes to draft. But, you know, it didn't do much for me. It just didn't do anything really at all to help out SK. And, you know, I think for OPE, they need to spend a bit more time in the mech, be a bit more resourceful in terms of that healing potential. And for me, that's where the mid was lost.
I think Maisie must have the worst win rate here in the Snapdragon Pro Series season 4 so far. I just really feel like she can do more. I liked the idea to play her against the Carl. It wasn't a bad idea at all. You need to control the aggressive brawler. We talked about it before. at the moment we have an aggressive meta, so you need something to control those. With Zeta banning out so many tank counters there, the Colette was there, Lou I think was there as well. They needed something, and that's why I felt maybe Maisie fills that gap now, but it obviously didn't.
It's just one of those brawlers where, maybe a ladder where you're playing against people that are just not as, superior to the ability to juke that kind of thing. I mean, that's where it can kind of shine. You can cycle better, but in the pro scene, players are just too astute on how to juke their way around the shots. They take a long time to really kind of get to that speed that you need to land the shots with, and it just doesn't really work for me. There was definitely a lot of options that could have been better, but again, certainly the draft was more favoring Zeta. I think they played that quite nicely and took out a lot of the heavy hitters. So maybe SK in that final pick just kind of got a bit flustered, couldn't really think of what to do. But nonetheless, they are a team which have a good game plan. I mean, Pedro's got his book of magic, no doubt about it. I think it was kind of maybe SK just trying to be too clever with things, maybe overthinking it somewhat, because there was definitely better brawlers, in my opinion.
Yeah, I see that definitely, that they really wanted something, tried new things, which is something I like to see usually. But in a match day like this one, where it all comes down to them winning this one or not, for them to still be able to smoothly qualify even for the finals, maybe it's not the right time to try things. Gale would have been one that comes to mind that usually is picked up to focus on the Carl and get rid of him. I think he was open, not quite sure. Anyways, we want to see some good drafts now, so we can just talk about the gameplay and not so much about draft, because I really feel like in this one, SK couldn't do much more to actually win it.
Yeah, they needed something else. For me, I wouldn't have even minded a Poco combined with the Meg, just to keep it more in the mix, just to have something there in terms of survivability, because I think OP was just struggling a lot. Chaos has always been that glue for me in SK that kind of keeps everyone stuck well together. And he wasn't really shining as much as I would like to have seen as well. Just a bit of a slow start, but it is just the first set for them. So I think going into field goal next for Brawl Ball, they can turn things around. Certainly, I think they've banned some good brawlers to start things off with the Nita, the Shelly, and the Bull. Fantastic to see the Bull, but that's one brawler which they didn't ban, that's the Lou. I mean, Nita's definitely a tough brawler to go up against, but I think that you kind of have to consider Lou a bit in every game mode. I mean, certainly Hot Zone is Lou's best mode, without doubt, but the Hypercharge is just so devastating, and if we're going to take one of those brawlers out of the bans, it would certainly been the Nita, replace it with the Lou. But let's see, SK going to be picking in with the B, the bans for Zeta being just all throwers, the Willow, the Barley, and the Dynamite. They just don't want to face any throwers on their side.
Understandably, throwers are just so good on this map, especially as last pick, even against the lead, they would do just fine. I do like the B pick up there, they just want some damage output, really account for any tanks that Zeta could still show up with. They themselves ban out the Bull there, the only tank that is really banned out in this whole matchup, so there's a lot of options still open. Really eager to see with what Zeta replies to that one. They can now just go with a lot of range, not go with the flow that SK Gaming is giving them, and then I don't think Cordelis is that good if you don't really have a lane that you can outrange, really.
I actually quite like it as a response to the Lou myself. I think it's that kind of more aggressive idea. Sandy over Zeta might have just swung me straight back again. Sandy is just in such a great spot. And in Brawl Ball, it is that brawler which can just change the outcome. And, just placing down one singular Sandstorm can just deflate an entire push and allow you to go on the offensive as well. When you are in that overtime scenario, it's basically like a guaranteed goal with a Sweet Dream stun as well on the gadget. Just so much utility is available for Sandy to be able to make moments happen. But again, Zeta probably not going to go with the tank with the B and the Cordelia staring in the face. Yeah, Spike going to come in. Again, another example of a team which are really valuing the hypercharged brawlers. And we sort of saw that last week. It does tend to work out better for the most part for good reason. Spike, I think, is one of those really versatile brawlers that's come in, has hypercharge. Maybe not necessarily up there with the best of the best, but I think certainly it's a safe idea when you're kind of playing into the dark somewhat. But this is SK's map and mode, as far as I'm concerned, a little bit. Yeah. With the B and the Cordelia, I really like where things are going. Sprout, I mean, I would be kind of a bit worried if it wasn't in the hands of SK. I think, when it's in the hands of SK, that can be a great brawler to have, but it's going to have to change things as to how Zeta play into this now. They're going to have to go super more aggressive, try to weave their way forwards, and, that's not necessarily always an easy thing to do.
Brawl Ball usually not one of their best modes. Zeta Vision still looking very strong to me here because I just like their comp a tiny bit better. They have so much control in their hands, of course. SK then just trying to, okay, you ban out 3 brawlers, let's pick the last one. Go with that strat. And I don't know if that's actually working out now. Sprout, if it is on the lane of Spike, it can do a amazing job. As soon as it's get pinched between two, or if it's not in the right hands, it's going to be very, very tough to play Sprout on a map like this one. He has the matchup there against Mao. Let's see if Zeta decides to switch lanes here. Scary is also struggling a tad bit against OP, gets pinched out there, falls in the end. So does OP's 2v2 situation. So far, none of those two teams really were able to claim a great push. Chaos gets a takedown there on the right-hand side. Now, Zeta is still trying to push on.
Yeah, Chaos still staying firm and standing on his feet, forcing Garrett forwards as well with a lovely wall there, straight into the arms of OPE, but he goes down. This is what I mean, the survivability of SK today has not been great, but again, now he should have really gone through that gap, but thought better of it. He has got super to hand, and that is going to be one of those ones that if landed perfectly onto Chaos, just pop the gadget as well to get him up to more of a freeze, but not really going to get more than that for it. Sandstorm, though, will open up some opportunities to the left-hand side, and Yoshi does find a tap there as well, as OP forces Meow into the realm. And that's going to be slowing down the advance ever so slightly now as SK just get themselves geared up for a defense. OP just jumps in so aggressive, but it's just not staying alive long enough to really show much for himself.
Really a bit too aggressive, overextended there for sure. Falls, and now Zeta Division with the mid control. OP only one more gets it in his hands, and Gareth still trying to get his super. As soon as Zeta Division has to send the super, they will make a goal out of it. I'm so sure about that. Meow again facing off against Chaos. Chaos likely the better matchup there, but no, he does a great job at helping out his teammate. They're pinching Chaos, and 100 HP now has to fall back once again.
Now he's got Hypercharge coming in thick and fast, and this is going to connect bang on with Yoshi, forcing then OP to have to consider how he defends this. IKS is still there for the defense, but it has done a wondrous job so far of just taking things down a notch, and that was really a great opportunity for Zeta. SK were playing it patient. I was a bit worried as to how patient they were actually playing, but now, not done yet. IKS is stunned and slowed there in the mid, and the shot there just off the line. The ball going to bounce over, not enough. OP will clear off the line. Yoshi's still stuck in that corner, but my word, that was a close call for SK.
Great defense there, 30 seconds left on the clock. Now is SK Gaming pushed up themselves now, trying to get some sort of ball control just before overtime. OP again jumps very aggressively. Does he manage to do it? No! Almost pulled a lookie there. We remember last season against Zeta Division, it is possible to slot those goals in.
I think there should have been a goal, actually. I mean, we saw it from Lenan in the previous match against SK, and I think that was a bit of a missed opportunity. And they'd see it back, but I think the angle was right for it. And nonetheless, going in then to overtime, and a shot and a chance for Zeta there on the left-hand side as OP goes down. It's a 2 versus 2. Great stun from Gary, but not quite enough to close it. And the shots there will land for SK. A chance to defend as OP now comes off the spawn. And now Zeta are back on the defense.
SK just got the takedown there, almost able to pass on Shinobi there. Garo comes out of spawn now. And Zeta are the ones to defend now. 2v3 situation. OP knows he just needs to corner the ball for now, as this most likely is going to be Zeta Division's overtime if they play like that. Sandy storms down as well. OP taking no into the Shadow Realm. Still not enough though. He's the last man standing. Meow probably can pass on Shinobi. OP misses their Shadow Realm. This could be a goal here, but they don't do it.
Ooh, very close now, but now they're coming with the hypercharge and finds the shot, finds the angle. It's going to trickle over the line. Lovely stuff from Zeta as they close out that game. It just feels like there's some communication issues on the side of SK. I've got to say it. Like, we saw it last week, and there's just too many moments where big opportunities are brewing, and there's just no, like, there's no value of the urgency of the situation from what I was seeing. OP was so far down the map, and the job wasn't done. He had to come back and then make a horrible choice between the two players, and I think Zeta, for me, played it perfect.
OP trying to do so much there, always pushing up, playing it so aggressively, but his teammates aren't following. It's exactly like you said. They just lack in communication there, it seems like. OP still gets stunned there, taken out in the end by Noe. Noe must be really close to hypercharge already, which is a tough thing to charge even on a Lu. Playing that 1v1 in the mid perfectly, helping out his teammates. Gary falling now enables SK Gaming to push up finally as Chaos has a wall.
Oh.
Was that the wall he wanted to place?
I think so, but I think we need to be a bit more to the left, to be honest. Gary was going to respawn regardless, but I think there was a glimmer of a chance there, maybe. But good taps regardless. They can keep Naui now suppressed there between himself and Yoshi, but not really landing much. Now they're starting to connect, but it might be a bit too little too late. Now it comes in. Lovely stuff. These are the places that SK should not be allowing Zeta to get out of, and it's just not looking great now as Meow, top left-hand side, far open there as well. You know, what's going on here with SK?
They are really struggling at the moment. Now Zeta Vision pushed up once again. Ball in a favorable position for them as well. And Noe with hypercharge, like I said, already ready even before overtime hits this time around. Noe trying to go in aggressively. Meow pops his hypercharge. Noe just does it right now as well. OP evades that freeze, but still Zeta Vision is pushed up there. Shadow Realm for Gero is going to enable SK Gaming to defend that one once again.
We're actually making a run for this, potentially. I mean, Gero is in the realm there, so forced then out, and he had to just play it quite cautious in that respect. Don't trade off on the right-hand side. It's going to be Yoshi and Naui. On the left-hand side, it's going to be Meow and Chaos. And it looks like Chaos is doing a pretty decent job at low HP. He'll have to actually take some time out eventually to get some of that back, but there with the rattled high from Yoshi, just going to come back around. Does find Gero in a really nice way as well. If OP can just force a round shot out, or maybe even go in for a shot on goal. The shots though from Gero were really strong there, and it's going to force him then to go down. 30 seconds on the clock, and Zeta going into overtime are going to be in a very nice spot.
We play this whole game in the upper half here. Zeta Vision with complete ball control once again, just waiting it out now for the walls to break down. Chaos places his wall, trying to get some more control over the ball once again. SK Gaming does manage to push out of the zone for now, but will they manage to make something happen in overtime? Or will this be the first set going towards the second already, towards Zeta Vision here? 4 seconds left on the clock. Gero falls quite low. OP sees a window there, gets the takedown, takes Meow into Shadow Realm. That's an opening for SK Gaming.
It's effectively a 2 versus 1 at this point in time. They've got to get the ball to Yoshi, really. He's got the super, but as quickly as that, you know, again, just not really capitalizing on the opportunity at hand. And now Zeta with a singular standstorm, pushing the ball back forwards and getting into a goal-scoring opportunity. Let's see if they can get supers, because they've got none of those to hand at the moment as SK are duking the shots, but they can't be far away. Now Meow gets this immediately so, and OP gone. SK back on the defense as quickly as that.
Great pinches all the way from Zeta Vision there. Another one coming to take out OP. Now Yoshi and Chaos defending. OP coming out of spawn. Once again, Zeta Vision in the favorable position. They do still have the hypercharge on Meow there as well, and 20 seconds left on the clock for them to be able to still score this one. If Meow now passes on to Noe, that might be it.
This is looking so bad for SK. With 10 seconds, there is still time. Meow can get the ball forced to the right. Down goes there Yoshi as well. Then Chaos to follow, and that is the set. Zeta timed it beautifully well. And again, those hypercharges coming in full circle to give them and bring them home the goods. Towards the end, gadget after gadget as well. They reserved so much, and SK just, you know, they are that defensive team in towards those overtime stages, but you can't do that all the time. It's only a matter of time before Zeta will bite back.
Once again, a draft issue maybe, but Zeta Vision also just played it very, very clean in this one, having the hypercharges at the right time, using them to their advantage, and never really fumbled the ball here. Maybe they just broke the curse. I do kind of feel like, I mention it so often, Zeta Vision not shining usually on Brawl Ball, but this set right now, they looked so strong. They did break the curse for me.
But is it that they're looking strong, or is it that SK are just playing it badly? I'll be honest, they just don't look like the team that they should be at this stage in the competition for me. I'm not really convinced on just like, they're not really valuing their lives very much, and I think that's a real thing that you've got to consider against a team like Zeta, who, okay, haven't got a win on the board yet, but they are that team which everyone has feared all year long. So, you know, to underestimate them in that regard, you can't do that. You can't kind of draft in a way that's like just taking them on having a bit of an off day. I actually quite like the Sprout pick though. I thought they was decent, but again, you know, just SK just not capitalizing on those opportunities nearly as much as they probably should have done. And I wanted to see a few more attempts on goal. They just looked like they were always waiting for Zeta to make the play, and you can't really take that approach with a team like them.
In the end, I have to say, I didn't hate the Sprout pick, but I would have needed a bit of a more tankier mid there. The B and the Sprout together, every single time OP was able to open up a window for SK Gaming to actually push and do something with the ball, a goal opportunity. His two teammates were still so far back because both of them are just on those squishy brawlers that you can't really push with. We're heading into the maybe even last set already. If SK Gaming loses this one, this would mean 2 3-0 sweeps in a row. I do not wish that for them.
Yeah, it's not looking great so far. This is where they have to turn things around. The needs to come in for Zeta as the first pick, the bans Dynamite, Barley, and the Willow. For SK Gaming, the Colette, the Lou, and the Barley. All round, like the bans. I think that Zeta today just do not want to face any throwers, and on the side of SK, I think the Colette is a must ban. When the other team has coin toss in Heist, that is a go-to ban for me. The hypercharge now with Colette just brings her into a place where it's just devastating and you're guaranteed to lose. So I like that so far from SK. The B and the Ruffs, you know, kind of safer ideas. The B though in Hot Potato. I don't know whether I'm sold on it. I mean, the Rattled Hive, I can just get behind. You know, surely in those early outsets, it's a great thing to have, especially now when you can have 4 gadgets to hand. But I don't know. On Hot Potato, I mean, they must be looking to break. Their combo's got to go with that same lines of the Roughs in this third and final pick, and that might then make Zeta reconsider how this draft goes. But I'm not too sure.
Once again, picking up the B, to me, she's just not really a meta pick anymore. I feel like they just want something against the tank, but of course Zeta still has other very aggressive options open here. For example, that Carl, I do love it. Also, the Nita is gonna have an easy time against the B once she has her bear and can just place it on to save. Let's see Zeta Vision, if they're actually gonna play a tank here as last pick. Rico's still open here technically as well. They just have so much more damage in their hands right now than SK Gaming. It really looks like they just play for safety, whereas Zeta Vision wants to rush safe.
I quite like the Cordelius because they're expecting the bull, you know, and I think that SK could probably still go in with it, to be honest. I mean, surely Cordelius, though, is the best brawler to go against it, so it can kind of cancel out the aggressiveness that you can bring to the table. But, you know, and if that is where SK's head is at, and they're bringing in B to defend against a potential bull, I don't know. I mean, you know, that is the brawler that you pick when you're looking to defend against the tank. So against a map which is very kind of closed, unless you're looking to really open up the whole thing, Gale,
No.
I don't know.
It's not it.
I don't know. This is not it, SK. I don't know. I mean, we've seen Gale as a bit of a sort of last pick panic idea against a tank that you weren't necessarily expecting when all other counters are kind of banned. Since LCQ, I'm not really sure where Gale fits in.
Prove it to us. Maybe
Somewhere.
they can make it work, but we are both not really convinced by the draft from SK Gaming right now. Let's see if they can actually pull it off here. They would certainly need this set to even prolong into the 4th one, which I would like to see. I don't want to see them swept off their feet twice in a row.
So somewhere Kenny is cheering. I tell you that. He is loving the Gale pick. I mean, you know, unless it's a UI error and it's not that map, I just don't quite understand it. If it's still going to be Hot Potato, yeah, I mean, I'm all for it, SK. Prove me wrong. The Rattled Hive is going to be coming out, like I said, in the early outset from OP. Probably going to pop a second one here eventually as well, and he will do just that. But over time, there's going to be less of a chance, and then it becomes a much harder affair to push into. And, you know, so far, Zeta haven't moved from the mid. They're all max HP. You know, I mean, I just don't know how I feel. Well, no, I do know how I feel about it, and I don't like it.
I'm just waiting for Chaos to get super there to break up the map, at least helping OP to hit those shots consistently, not giving Meow the bear. So far, Meow not hit a single shot onto any opponent. That's a good thing. SK Gaming now has the possibility to push up here, not really risking to feed any of those bears or Carl supers or whatever. Gera has his now. Noe as well. They're certainly going to push up now.
Well, to be fair, OP is doing a decent job, finds to slow down to Meow as well, and you know, but against the amplified shot not being there, he's not going to land too much damage for his time. IKEA's going to buff himself, it seems there, maybe just try to go for a little bit of a wall break, but nonetheless, we'll be able to clear up defense as SK are still firmly in the mid, forcing Noe and Meow together, and Zeta are struggling, in fairness, to go up against this kind of comp, but I just wonder how long this will last. There's one bear on the safe, one flying hook in from Garrett at the wrong time, and then just using that back wall to land the damage, and Zeta should be okay in this scenario, and I mean, SK, for the most part, damage-wise, has not been there, and the aggressiveness of Zeta is, and they're approaching 50% now, 62 at the moment to 94. SK are way behind, considering they had that mid-control.
I still don't really feel the Gale at the moment. They only have Chaos to break up the map, and they can only thrive once OP can hit every single shot. He does very good job at it, but he just has too many walls and bushes right in front of him that really enable Zeta to push up again and again. Another super coming down there from Meow. Bear kind of confused thanks to the Twister. Maybe Gale was just there to defend the Nita Bear, actually.
I like it, but there's just surely better ideas that can work, right? I mean, you know, it's very clever. I'll give it that. It definitely wasn't something that I saw coming, but I just don't know whether it's worthy of that kind of third and final pick, which many in the pro scene say is the best position to find yourself in. Chaos surviving, though, on 65 HP, and then Meow forced into that little left-hand side pocket, needs the support of OP, but these are shots that should really be landing better. SK are still behind by a long shot. It's going to be match point for Zeta. There's not even anything close about this. Zeta are just running away with it.
SK Gaming knows that they don't even try to push up anymore. They need so much more damage to take the win over this one. Zeta Vision having the first game here makes this a next 1 hour match point here for Zeta Vision. If they win the next game, it's going to be all over for SK Gaming. I do feel like they played it so well. They were tapping, but it's just not enough. If you're only defending on Heist, you're most certainly going to lose.
I don't know whether they are playing it great, though. The way I see it, they've dug their own grave, lying it now. I mean, I was rooting for them today, but I don't know where their minds are at, really. I mean, they're just maybe trying to be a bit too smart, a bit too clever. And again, I would love to see some of these ideas pay off. I liked the Gale interaction against the Nita Bear. It was smart, it was clever, but it just doesn't have that aggressiveness that you need. It's not that typical kind of aggressive, hot potato counter you're expecting to see. You shouldn't be able to get a Cordelis that far up the map, and now he's doing a great job on the side of Zeta just to keep the pressure on, just slowly get them whittled down, then get some damage on the safe.
Now we're now on safe once again. Zeta doesn't take the lead for now. It's only 9%, so SK can still turn things around here. Playing it very aggressive. OP and Chaos are at the top and can whittle down the safe a tiny little bit. Both with the B and the Ruffs on safe, you also just don't do as much damage as Garo with the Coral.
Exactly, it does so little damage, and that's why SK just find themselves so behind and just constantly on the defense, and you've got to find that big balance between defense and offense. And now, even with the Nita shots on the safe, and now he's not going to do the most amount of damage, but it's the takedowns which they're just able to cycle in so nicely. SK need to get off this defense and back on the offense, and Zeta is timing these spawns really nicely. Gary is always a big problem there on the right-hand side, and now Chaos creeping forwards, OP just trying to helping hand that right-hand side, but they've got to start to land some shots on the safe. It just can't all be about the defense and holding off Zeta.
The map's now broken up quite decently though. SK Gaming might still be able to claim this one if they can make this last minute count. With the walls broken up, the Gale and the B certainly going to have a bit more room to play with here. OP hits a 3 count to save. They actually take over the lead almost if there wasn't Garo still on their own safe.
Yoshi does clear up the defense, but it is still just a 2% margin so far. Chaos has really been holding things together nicely as the Ruffs pick, which is not always a great thing to make work, but he is finding the shots and the angles that he needs to secure the kills. And now SK just take a little bit more of a lead, 40% to 52, but this could be over in one single push on the side of Zeta. They time this run, it's all over. SK at the moment know that they are just really chasing time. Taking down Meow down on the right-hand side was a really crucial moment to do it. He has got Bear, and that would have been a great time to use it. In the meanwhile, SK are clearing house. This could be well their game.
15 seconds left on the clock. Walls completely gone by now. SK Gaming thriving, finally making those last few seconds count. Zeta Division pushing up still. Can they still turn things around here? It's 22% they need, and they're not going to get it. Match point evaded for now. SK Gaming winning their first game this whole match.
I mean, even that wasn't enough to convince me that this is going to go the way of Zeta. I mean, it can be done. SK can survive on in this series, but I mean, at the moment, it's just not looking likely. I mean, Zeta there just kind of opened themselves up to a bit too much, and they could have just gone more aggressive. They probably should have done that and gone back to the kind of play style in that first game and just continuously cycle those deaths, but get the damage along the way with the Carl, which I think is a fantastic brawler against this kind of comp. And, at the moment, I think SK are, again, chasing time. I think that they are very much up against it, and they have to do a great deal more if they want to survive it.
Again, they just need to break up the map as quickly as possible. I'm actually impressed that they made this comp work. I did not see any single wiggle room for them to make it work, but they did in the second game now. Can they make it work for a whole set is the question for now. Yoshi on the right-hand side against Garo. Certainly the better matchup there for the side of Yoshi, but Garo still will get his super eventually, so will Meow. And if they push up together, it's going to be so many percentages taken off the safe of SK Gaming in one go.
Great defense there from Yoshi and Chaos, really helping hand that mid, but that is the last Rattle Hive for OPE. He's exacerbated every single gadget at such an early stage of the game. I mean, that is the strat with this idea, but nonetheless, definitely a cause for concern for SK. Cleared up is the mid, but Gare on the left-hand side still remains, and that is a cause of concern they've got to take care of. Meanwhile, big taps from OPE, but it is the B not necessarily going to pack the biggest of stings. It lets the amplify like that one there. 85% to 86. 1% is all that is in it so far. SK just clinging on to a lead.
Honestly, Chaos and OP doing so much work at the moment, just tapping, Yoshi also defending, but still Zeta Division in the lead for now. Again, they just need a single push and they do way more damage than SK Gaming. They just need to defend at all costs, and that's what they do at the moment. Once again, Zeta Division taking over the lead very quickly. Now Noigera and Meow all just waiting for Meow to get his super as well, to push up once again, maybe even finishing off the safe in one go.
Nice pinch there between Chaos and Naui, but now he's still alive. Those are the takedowns that should be happening sooner to be able to save that time, invest it, and go off the offense. Chaos there with a nice takedown, but in the meanwhile, Garo is going to be on that safe on the top side of the map, getting damage, and you can see on the top right, he is still gaining that damage, and SK should be going on the offense to be able to equalize it out. Chaos in there, and Yoshi just not really cutting the must that they need to have here in this scenario. 20 seconds on the clock, and this is going the way of Zeta as far as I can see it so far.
That was the most important takedown there. Garo getting the takedown onto Yoshi, then able to stay onto safe. Now Noe taking him into Shadow Realm. Again enables Garo on the safe. 10 seconds left in the clock. Zeta Division still standing strong. This is going to be over for SK Gaming any second now. 3-0 once again.
Absolutely chalked. I mean, SK just did not look like the team that they should, and who would have thought it that B there wouldn't work out? Trav, what did you make of it?
I mean, I love the way Zeta played that, to be honest. And I know you guys said there really wasn't much chance of SK being able to win that going into it anyway with the compositions that they were, well, they drafted. I was going to say that it was provided for them, but they were the ones who did it to themselves at the end of the day. So SK really need to switch something. I mean, now the switch has gone off in Zeta's head. They've started winning, but is it too little too late? Probably so. For SK, now they're on the same peg as Zeta Division as well, so it's not looking good whatsoever.
Yeah, both of them are being 1 in 4 now. It doesn't really look good for either of them. As you said at the start, Trev, Zeta Division just managed to kind of take them down with them. Both of them probably not the highest chances to make it to the finals.
In Gale Banks, B and Gale.
B and Gale, my friend. You know what? It's nice to see that Zeta have finally joined us in the Brawl Stars Challenge season of the Snapdragon Pro Series. Hey Zeta, what's going on? 3-0 against SK Gaming. Trav is crying in his bedroom later on, but don't worry about it. We've got plenty more action to come later on. So let's first of all strip things back like we always do. Let's go all the way back to the beginning of that match, in fact, not the map. SK deciding to throw away a very, very early lead, which led to a bit of frustration for them. It kind of felt like they were scrappy from then on out. What was the opening map?
Fire.
Thank you very much. Ark, talk to me. SK just struggled off the bat, really.
They looked good at the very early outset. You know, it didn't look like it was unwinnable, but I just felt like for me, the Meg mid has got to be one that stays in mech. You know, as soon as you're out of mech, that is a time when your opposition are going to push you out of that objective. And, you know, Zeta, when they get that sort of positioning power over you, it's very hard to push back into that. So I think the decision to not bring in some kind of heal, I mean, even like a Byron Meg, we have seen, and it's not my preferred idea, but, you know, something to, if you're going to go super aggressive, ensure that survivability is there, and it just kind of wasn't for SK. And just these ideas, they just kind of continued forwards. It was like creative stuff. It was like, okay, maybe they've got something in mind that's going to work here. And I was praying for it to work, because I was like, you know, again, rooting for them here today, and it just didn't.
All my homies hate Meg.
We're
not a fan, right?
Well, speaking of super aggression, Garo, Trav, absolutely playing out of his socks. I've got to say, throughout their entire series, possibly one of the main reasons why they 3-0'd SK. Now, I mean, coming into this, do you feel like SK maybe didn't even really anticipate that he would just go guns blazing at them from the outset?
I mean, I think it's stupid of SK not to be honest with you. You know, they might be 0-4. All the players might be kind of heads down at the moment, but considering they're not doing too well. But if SK expected not to have a fight against them here, against a team like Zeta Division, then they're just a bit stupid, to be quite frank. You've got to expect all of the players on Zeta Division to be able to have those pop-off moments, because they're all so strong mechanically. And I think, you know, I mean, it's definitely on SK, definitely on the drafting more than anything, I think, but you've got to be switched on to some of the Zeta players.
Speaking of aggression, on the other side of that, you were talking about team synergy throughout the whole thing, both of you, and we also saw just Ope going for those aggressive plays, but not having any backup. And it seemed like it was kind of almost attempting a one-man show kind of thing, because the other players just lacked that communication or lacked that synergy to go with him and just follow up on what he was doing, Sonny.
In a way, yes. I have to draw it back to the draft once again. To me, that Brawl Ball set was literally just having two squishy brawlers that can't really follow up with any of the aggression that Ope was showing. It wasn't really them to blame. To me, they mechanically played well today, but with the draft in their hands, it was just a very tough exercise that they had to do today. Even in Heist winning that second game, I didn't see that one coming. If I would play the comp that SK Gaming would play against three very young Arcs, for example, I would still lose. Honestly, the draft made it impossible for them to win today in my eyes.
You'd lose with any comp against Arc.
Coming from the guy that hasn't
just gonna leave me hanging it.
Yeah, I am.
I was being nice. Was I not being nice?
I haven't lost a single game against Arc so far.
Okay, I'll give you one.
That's unacceptable now. It's too late. It's too late now.
Carnage here. But also Carnage in game. Zeta win 3-0 against SK to kickstart day number 3. Plenty more action to come. And we've got a very important match to come up very, very shortly. We've got two teams who are sat in the qualifying position at this point. And so one of them is going to pull ahead and make their stake in the challenge finals almost a certainty. Let's find out who it's going to be after the break.
Welcome to the place where dreams come true, where everything you want can be yours, if and only if you're willing to work for them, you're willing to hurt for them, but most of all, you're willing to be first for them. Ha! Look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop, like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting? It's hot. Look what I got. Whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success.
The Snapdragon Pro Series powered by Samsung Galaxy is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, Monster Energy, and DHL.
Welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series. A battle at the bottom of day 5 has concluded and Zeta Division come out victorious. So now we climb that ladder towards the top of the leaderboard and we have two teams who are in joint second place at the moment. It's going to be VN Esporting going up against Fut Esports. So the first thing that I would like to focus in on right now is VN Esporting, okay? Arg, I think you might find this quite interesting. So VN Esporting, they have this strange dynamic, okay? So far, in the past 4 match days in the challenge season, they have not won a single opening set. So almost every single time, they go into their match on the back foot. And then they bounce back, win the second set every single time, and then have dragged out that game to eventually win. So it almost seems like VN Esporting have to face some sort of adversity before then capitalizing on the match. What do you reckon about that?
Slow burners or playing with their food on some level, like, you know, it's one of the two,
Playing
right?
with their food.
Or,
Yeah.
Savages.
or it's just completely random luck. That could also be
Well,
that's a good thing, couldn't it?
It.
Yeah.
I think mine was more exciting.
possible third option.
You really just come in with, it could be random luck.
Random look.
Right, we've got our replay on the screen coming up from VN Esporting. But yes, They end up going on the back foot first and foremost. Then they come forward and charge. Rama has said in a previous interview that they love playing all-out aggression. So do you maybe think that that's what it is? People are anticipating it, and then they're going, I've got your number, and then EUR&MENA sporting a bit of adaptation.
They've definitely been that team for me that have adapted. I would say, they gave certainly many a team a run for their money, but at the moment, I think Fut are looking like the better team. For me, I feel like the way that they went up against Nouns especially did say that in a large way. For me, EUR&MENA Sporting have never looked better though. I think the roster change that they've had to kind of implement, as as we know, not going the way of Navi, it seems, for the qualifying stages of the SPS at least. I think that, with that in mind, they've actually looked a lot better than I was going to give them credit for. They've been able to hold their own for the most part. But in terms of previous scorelines, it's one of those things where in the BSC, EUR&MENA Sporting did always get the win over Fut Esports. In the SPS, however, Fut Esports did win when it really mattered for them to win back in the Challenge Finals, of course, despite it not being EUR&MENA Sporting's main roster. Fut Esports coming out on top, and in the Split Open Cups as well, 2-0 in the favour of Fut Esports. Going back to the Season 3 Challenge stages, EUR&MENA Sporting got that win as well over Fut 3-1. So it has been a kind of a long-term rivalry, but at the moment I think that Fut just looked that little bit better.
I feel like it's almost like Fut are improving constantly, so we don't really know what to expect coming into their next match. Also, when you're looking at this objectively, the leaderboard, they're both on 3-1, so what do you use to differentiate? Okay, well, who have they faced against? And honestly, it's more or less the same, other than Fut have faced off against Nouns, and then that was their only loss. So, Sonny, how do you separate these two teams, or do you think we just go into this and it might be a flip of a coin?
If you just look on the paper or on the stats of this season, yes, we could say those teams are just very equally strong at the moment. Both are 3-1, like you said. Fut Esports losing to Nouns Esports as the only team that we're able to beat them, though, makes a big difference to me because, yeah, they're just a bit better than Humble that won against EUR&MENA Sporting. I feel like if we look back on a bit further even, Fut Esports looks just a bit better constantly. They're over more seasons, and also they made it to World Finals, right? They should be able to take this one home.
Sunny loves her stats, and I love that.
I do.
So as I go back to the stats, and then this is exactly what's going to happen. And then most of the time, it happens. It's quite scary, really. Now, Trav, okay, one thing that I feel like we need to point out is that Fut Esports, they absolutely love adapting on the fly. They feel like that's one of their biggest strengths. We heard it from Semantic's mouth himself when we interviewed him. Now, EUR&MENA Sporting come into this match with kind of this cold, hard strat of we are hyper-aggressive all the time. Now, that could be dangerous going up against a team like Fut Esports that are happy to adapt on the fly, adapt to that aggression. Do you feel like Fut have potentially an edge coming to this as well?
Yeah, I think Fut have got an edge on, more than just that point as well. I think that's a great point to make. They're going to be able to adapt to what EUR&MENA Sporting bring to the table. But I think they're just generally better at the moment. That's at least in my eyes. I just feel like Fut Esports are the favourites coming into this one by a decent amount. I'd say maybe like 75-25 in my eyes, and that's pretty bold coming from me as well. So yeah, no, I'm going to side with Fut Esports this one. I'm going to go with solid 3-1.
Trav said that I made a good point, so I'm pretty happy
made
about
it.
that. Thanks, I've made it, haven't I?
You are him.
I am him. Right, let's begin with our predictions. Sunny, I'm going to come to you first. Predict for me, and we'll talk about the draft as it appears on our screen.
They just both already said 3-1, so you just heard Trev compliment you, and then your brain shut down immediately.
It honestly did. You both said 3-1. To Fut.
Yep.
Okay. Having the same prediction really grinds my gears. I'm just telling you that.
I'm not mixing it up for the sake of it. I said at the beginning, I felt like,
Behind as it is.
yeah, I felt like Fut were the team in this region, and then my mind changed to Nouns. Now I think that Fut are still like that second team. I think it'd be rude for them not to take this as a victory. I'm just going to say 3-1 still, yeah.
Sonny, you're going to tell me 3-1.
I'm looking at the draft of last stop so far. I think Fut Esports probably might win this first game once again.
Void prediction.
I'm going to go with them, actually. For today, I'm going to be the copycat saying 3-1 as well.
3-1 all around. Okay, well, I mean, I'll lean the other way and I'll say EUR&MENA Sporting. And if I get it right, you're all doing 10 press-ups. So, for that, we're going to throw you guys over to the other side of the room. Caster's desk, please go and enjoy yourself, because this goes the same for you at home. This is no time for a tea break, by the way. Blink, and you might miss a magical moment, because it is time for EUR&MENA Sporting against Fut Esports.
Joke's on you, buddy. Can't do 10 press-ups.
I was going to say, for being based to imply that Trav's going to get down to do any form of exercise, how little blood knows you.
Yeah. what can I say? I mean, it's the shoulder. It's the shoulder.
It's a big excuse, but nonetheless, we'll whiz past it. Piper ban I can kind of see here, but I can't really see necessarily Fut playing it too often, but I have seen them play it before. Bust the Rosa, I think they're kind of the smartest two bans for me on the side of VN Esporting. The Otis, the Squeak, and the Carl there for Fut. Tara, I mean, it's a great lane to have work out here, and as you know, Trav, you know, it's always a good brawler regardless as to where you pick it.
Yeah, especially to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you can pick it on, you know, I don't know, what's the most open map in existence? The 1v1 map, and I'd be here.
Canyon Heist still works.
It does. It works everywhere if you try hard enough with it. But no, I like this Fut Esports composition. You know, I've questioned Nani a little bit, and I know you guys have as well. Down the mid here, it does seem a bit questionable, but it's kind of one of the only answers to 8-bit, and even at that, it's still not really an answer. Let's put it pretty frankly there. And Eve as this last pick, it was one of the main, I think it was one of the main bans. So you know, it's been really sliding into the meta quite heavily at the moment. So I can't really blame him for picking it.
It's a quite versatile one. The hatchlings, of course, in bushier maps can kind of help out a little bit with the poison tick over time. Certainly to land those follow-up shots can be there, as well as some body blocking potential as well. So I don't necessarily mind it. It's probably one of my least favorite brawlers on the side of VN Esporting. I like the 8-bit, it's probably my favorite. It's kind of close between the Spike and the Eve. I think that Fut is a bit more bold and certainly has that kind of balance of aggression that we're kind of expecting to see from Fut. I mean, that's the thing, you know, Rama's saying that they are all that aggressive, all-out team, but I think for me, you know, Fut's aggression has been really hard to match for the majority of the season so far. Early start there as the gadget pop there, support from beyond from Linan, just get him into a great spot and an easy pinch between himself and Drage now, and maybe it's quick to follow as well. I mean, that is about as good a start as you can hope for from Fut.
Yeah, I mean, Fut really aren't going to complain. As you said, VN Esporting like to think themselves an aggressive team with one of the most defensive comps I think I've ever seen, to be honest with you. So we'll see if that actually does come true. But Linan doing a good job over the right side. Should go down shortly. Curveball not getting him the easiest of times. And a peep is available from Drage. But he does want to keep this mid pressure. Try keeping Mebius back out of this bush. And Semantic going to throw that super down in mid. Get a little bit of freeze going, but not enough to stun him out.
Yeah, nothing really to write home for, really, from Semantic. He's going to try and heal up just a little bit on that left-hand side. Stays in position, but in the meanwhile, are out of the mid. Drake with some huge taps there onto Mebius and Rama along the way. Now the peep comes forwards. He's got to find his way around there. The hatchling and the jump away from Bus comes absolutely on point. A bit of a wasted super there from Drage, so has to look to re-earn that around this game.
Yeah, really brilliant there from Buzzco on the left. Linan has that pull low, going to use it now. Avoids a couple of shots as well perfectly on the way through, not getting, you know, completely blinded by that pull going and hitting. Now Rama's going to fall quite low as well. Drage not going to find that final connection, but another super available from Semantic, going to give them a bit of control down in this mid when they do choose to use it. Maybe it's going to get hit by that as well. I don't know if he just didn't have any live plants left or if he knew he could tank it, because I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to survive that, but Rama picks up the 6th, and it's actually a closer game than expected.
Yeah, I agree. I was expecting the live plant there, absolutely so, but maybe it's just really dicing with death as his curveball shots are landing onto Linan, and now Linan goes down. There's Drage punching yet again, and you know, some of these peeps haven't been great from Drage, but the shots really have been. Rama going to tank that one. This has not really got much of an answer except for the cheat cartridge, which you probably prefer to keep when it comes to those gems. Linan getting absolutely blasted in the mid, goes down very quickly. In the meanwhile, though, that hypercharge from Semantic absolutely on point, but another one in return from Mavis is equally as good. Those two are dicing on the right-hand side. It's such a close one to call, but meanwhile, the gems are dropped by Drage. Disastrous stuff for Fut Esports. They've got to reset this countdown in the next 10 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, Rama's got that TP away as well. Peep may be coming in, but Return to Sender is going to be the one that he is going to be using, so not going to get the TP in. Now, Linan, the only one who can really do too much here. Semantic not going to be able to get the kill in, and Linan's going to go down on the right-hand side as well. All the gems drop, and VN Esporting managed to guarantee themselves that first game. Definitely played well towards the end there. As soon as they started establishing those turrets, it went very well for them, but you know, I can't help feel that right lane was just being dominated by Spike, and the left lane dominated by the Eve.
Yeah, it was a bit disappointing to me because Fut looked quite promising, I felt, for the majority of that game. I think that, what Drage was doing on that Nanny was really, really promising. And just over time, VN just creeped their way forwards, and great stuff for them. Good early start is exactly what VN Esporting need, as again, they are that team that, you know, as Banks rightly said, do drop that first set. Nonetheless, these early gadgets are quite key for Linan here, help with the Drage there to get the takedown of Basco. That will allow Linan to heal and force his way into the mid as well and get a couple of swipes, a couple of taps into Rama. But we saw this in the last instance as well. You know, it was Fut Esports that had the better start, but they did not have the best of finishes.
Oh, a wall break coming in there from Drage. Chooses not to go for the aggressive damage. Rama almost stunned out, now does get stunned. Drage going to find the connection to finish him off. Another stun as well. Beautiful from Semantic. Great adaptation from Fut Esports to move to this right-hand side. Brilliant from them, and that's, you know, that's what they said. Adaptation is their middle name. Drage now getting some shots through. A little bit of a better start this time for Fut Esports, and that's a good kill on the right-hand side with the hypercharge from Semantic. Mid goes down too, and just this lane swap has been enough to make Fut dominate this game.
Honestly, this is an absolute masterclass here from Fut Esports. Loving every second, but they've got to be able to secure it at the end, which is where they struggled last time around. Drake has the gems. Basco, though, low in HP, is going to have to survive on just a little bit longer here before he can try to make an advance on it. But Lenan is all over that. Peep going to come in from Drake. Redirect now. Find Maybe is potentially here as well. And he does. What's a night and day difference there for Fut Esports as they then tie up this first set.
I mean, the start was the exact same for Fut. They got up to those 6 gems quite quickly, just as in that last one. But in this one, they just kept control, and you know, we didn't see any lane swaps at all coming in from the side of EUR&MENA Esporting. You know, the lanes that were working for them last time just didn't seem to be what they prioritized this time. So it's a little bit worrying for me that they didn't make any swaps down on those lanes and didn't try help Ramrat in that mid. But honestly, it's just Drage being an absolute demon through the center.
Yeah, he's been landing every tap, and it's causing a big problem for Rama. I mean, like I said, you know, I was not sold on it when I saw it last week. I think it was SK that played it, if I'm not mistaken, and it didn't work out well for them at all against Fut. But this is how you play it. I mean, Drake, I hope
it now.
I hope he breaks the right side though again, because it worked out so well. Going to go for the kill on that left-hand side. I don't necessarily mind it at all. It's just going to buy some good time, but certainly you can see how much more Semantic could do in that last game with that side open. Basco's still surviving on Drake that gets a lovely pinch, and there's now 6 gems in the pocket of Fut as EUR&MENA Esports really struggling to get in this game.
Yeah, Rama's earned himself a turret, but Drage should go for this little peep break as he did in the last one. Len ain't going to survive this one just with a slither of HP. Down goes that turret as well, and that's going to be devastating for Rama. Back to where he was in the last, and the return to sender from Drage. Great connection to follow up as well, straight onto Rama. Should keep him out this mid enough time to grab those 2 gems, and the next one spawns on his side. Semantic got the hypercharge too. They get the kill, they get the peep in there too, and this is domination from Fut Esports.
It really is. You know, you cannot fault it. Everything is spot on perfect and calculated and calm and the whole way through it. Lovely double suck to end it all from Lenan as Fut will finish this set in style. An explosive start. The first game, not for them. I thought that it looked going up to the gem count to be their game, and it wasn't to be. But what a valiant comeback. And again, those adaptations absolutely on point.
I mean, that's just something we expect from Fut at this point, but still never fails to amaze me whenever I see it. Just the night and day difference from game 1 to game 2. And don't get me wrong, game 1 wasn't bad for them by any means either. They had 9 gems in hand when all the EUR&MENA Esporting had was 11, but they just didn't have the time to be able to reset that counter. But in the second and the third, they didn't even, like, did EUR&MENA Esporting even get a gem in the second and third games at all?
This were not in the game at all. They're going to have to really make some changes going forwards because Fut today woke up and chose violence, it seems. I mean, it was perfect. I mean, just a solid draft, really well thought through. And again, I'm now much more sold on that than any pick. I think they can work much better into the 8-bit for sure. But it's got to be played like that. I mean, there was just some really calculated choices on the way from Fut. And, you know, I think that now EUR&MENA Esporting going to this next set, they've got a lot to consider here.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, you know, if they can break up that right-hand side wall, stop those turrets from being there, there's really nowhere else you can place it and still get the same value. So I think that was probably the smartest thing to do from Drage that he could have really thought of, just breaking down that wall, allowing, you know, whoever it was on that side, probably the Lu for the majority of the time when it was working, to be able to have that range advantage down the right-hand side and just do such a good job of holding it down was really smart, especially because then as soon as he gets that hypercharge, there's nowhere for Rama to run. You know, you're getting stunned if you don't have that turret to TP back to.
Yeah, I was surprised that actually, like, Fut are mixing up their draft along the way as well, because that was like for me, a bit of a prime place to bring in a Sam. We know what Lenan can do on that particular brawler, but they didn't go for it today. And it's those ideas which, as we go through the weeks, kind of surprise me a little bit, because they are not becoming that team that are very predictable, and they were that team in previous seasons that were really quite predictable. And when it comes to those drafts, as we've already heard, you know, Drage really is that mastermind that other teams really kind of are a bit behind, in my opinion, when it comes to getting those picks just right. As we go into then dry season for Bounty, the bans being the Gene, the Buster, and the Grey for EUR&MENA Esporting. Grey being valued equally as much by Fut Esports, but the Immortus quite like that ban. Against a player like Mavis, you kind of have to, and the Cordelius, those are 2 brawlers that are definitely aimed at him.
Yeah, I mean, they've managed to get the Lou first pick again, though, which is definitely not good for VN Esports. And Carl and RT, though, I love those two picks. I think that's two of the best picks you can get on this map. But is it anything compared to that Lou Hypercharge? The Colette Hypercharge as well are going to be against that Carl, going to be against the RT. It's going to be so strong against both of those brawlers. I'm siding with Fut again so far.
Lou at the moment, it's just that brawler which continues to creep forwards. I mean, if you've got Hypercharge and your opposition has the lead and they're in that back spawn, it's just going to be an easy cleanup, isn't it? Brock to open up as well. I mean, the Colette is maybe the most troublesome brawler to make work here, but that's why bringing the Brock and open things up more allows the Colette to find the angles. I mean, I agree, the Carl is a bit of a saving grace for VN Esporting. It always has been. It is that real aggro idea, which we've heard from Ramba time and time again, is like the magic formula to their success. Piper is going to work out actually kind of arguably better into the Brock once the Brock opens things up more. The Piper then has more ability to land those shots, so I quite like it from VN Esporting, but this is a dangerous idea that Fut are going to be throwing their way, because again, the Hypercharge of the Colette is dirty, really, really dirty. I mean, you can clear up shop from beyond the grave with that Hypercharge, and the Lou as well, just stunning everyone out, which in a map like Dry Season tends to have a lot of clustering in those back spawn areas. I mean, that's going to be certainly a highly considered idea for VN Esporting going into this game.
Well, I like what VN Esports have brought to the table, but equally as much, Fut Esports just seem to have such a good comp too. Right, we're going to be playing this Piper as well. Some great taps early on from both teams, but it's actually Lenane who's going to go down. But Drade's going to be able to trade that one out, and obviously the Carl is the one they want for this mid. Through, down goes the super. The stun should be following shortly, but he just gets jump in time. Lenane back in the mix, but not without them being 3 stars down.
A nice hacks gadget there as well from Barsky. I really like the timing of it, as getting the lead so important to have here, as the break from the left-hand side is there from Semantic. Just trying to then increase their opportunity, their chances here. But again, it's what I'm saying, those walls being broken, it's actually going to help out Rama potentially if he lands these shots. If he doesn't, then his team are going to find themselves in a bit of a sticky position very quickly.
Yeah, they really are, and I mean, Lenane with this super is not going to be something that they want to fight off against. In goes the super. Gotcha Gadget was along with it as well, but he's marked up. This is not the smartest of positions for Lenane to be in. Does go down now. I think that was a bit of a wrong choice to be made there. Drage going to get hit hard as well, and that mark elevating that damage even more that Rama's finding the connections for. Semantic really needs to find some long-range taps here, or is they're not going to be too far in the game. They need to get back behind these unbreakable walls and have a bit of a voice here. Drage trying to push forwards yet again. Busco gets hit, but not really falling too low. Maybe he's just going to try and deflate this pressure. Now going to choose to go in, spin back out. Seems like that was a bit of a waste of pretty much all the utility he had.
Yeah, but I think just trying to survive was maybe the better call, but now he won't. Goes down, and the lead as quickly as that shifts over to Fut Esports. Everyone on the side of VN Esporting just falling like cards, and that is just 1 star, but it could well be enough. It's a hard thing to get a Piper into an aggressive pinch spot in these final moments, 20 seconds on the clock. Plenty of time for it to switch either way, but nonetheless, such a turning point in this game.
Well, Hypercharge galore ready for Fut Esports as well. All Drage needs is that super. Lenane's already got his, and Carl and RT are not going to be the easiest things to play into these two brawlers with super. Semantic needs to back off. He's the main man. He's the one they want with the 4 stars, but Lenane can't go down either. It's just 1 gem that they'll 1 star that they need. In goes Mebius, but they're all going to fall. Busco the only one surviving, but that does not matter as Fut Esports take another game back home.
The patience there of Drage too to hold on to that Hypercharge, because in my brain I was like, right, you do it now, right? You're gonna do it now, surely, right? And he just held on to it, and I think that also has helped ensure that insurance policy towards the end. It was just really nicely done from Fut. The turnaround was strong, and then arguably holding on to it towards the end even stronger. I was surprised. Normally when you see a game like that go so convincingly the other way and then turn it back around in your favor, it doesn't happen very often, and VN Esporting kicking themselves now a bit as a result of that. Nonetheless, they still get the blue star, and we saw that as the starting hand for VN Esporting last time, and they were able to gain a great deal of stars off the back of that position, but they've got to do so again, and this time they've got to hold on to it, most importantly.
Lenane not having the best times, regardless of being against Mebius on the Carl here. Getting some great peeks in. Warbreak's going to come through. Gotcha Gadget used there as well. Brings him down to 1 shot, but Semantic gets double tapped by Rama. Brilliant connections from him. But Drage pushing up behind this wall. Lenane being forced to back off, and he's actually going to get taken down as well. Rama popping off right now, getting all the kills for his team. Semantic's falling low, and Drage out of position, does have that super, but pretty sure he's just going to go down here. Super comes in from Lenane, but not going to find any kills either. And this is an extending lead by the second for VN.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit dangerous. as Lenan tries to pop there, another gotcha gadget to try to get the health back, and every time it does, VN Esports, to their credit, are trying to not feed into the very idea, and it's spying down the clock in their favor. But there's a lot of stars around the heads here of VN Esports. It's just Rama and one other, and then that will be turning things around more in favor of Fut. Stun goes on the right-hand side, Buzzco goes down, Blue Star handed over. Now if they get Rama, it's going to be going the way of Fut, and with the hypercharge of Drake and Lenan here, and this is what I've been saying time and time again, valuing these hypercharged brawlers as they go in right now. Drake on the right-hand side, going to secure it, get the takedown. 6 now to 7. Fut are still behind here, but Lenan is not done yet, forcing on the jump onto Rama, who then goes down himself. 12 to 9. Fut are storming it, but as quickly as that, the lead transferred back over to VN Esports.
Yeah, still time on the clock though. Lenane is going to come back in with this super, and that's not a good spot, but he gets tapped, has to back off as Rama's coming in as well. Semantic needs some long-range taps. In goes the homemade rest, but it's going to be missed as well. Drage pushing up 5 seconds. They need to make a move. Mebius is the one they want, but he's going to fly and hook away. Not going to find the kill, and VN Esports even things out in Bounty.
What an intense back and forth in this final 30 seconds. Could have gone either way, genuinely, even into the final second. But VN Esports managed to hold on just a little bit there. It's probably the best we've seen them play so far in this series. Can they then claw things back enough to get a set to even things out and really give Fut a run for their money? I feel this comp is a good one. Like I said, coming into it, the Piper against the Brock, when they open everything up, it does work out pretty well. And Rama's been playing a fantastic game so far.
It seems Fut Esports have beaten the Demons early on, and getting this first star should be what they guarantee themselves, but that's a good kill coming in from Rama, and he's the main man for VN Esports at the moment. Wall break's going to be there from Semantic yet again, but that's only helping Rama on this side against Drage. He needs those walls to be able to push up, but actually finding some good room now. Gets tapped and has to back off though, and Colette already with super. But they are one star down, and that means they're going to have to push.
Yeah, it's a dangerous position here for Fut because they need to get themselves forward, but they also need to just survive in the circumstances that VN Esports can just find the pinches very nicely, utilizing a lot of their range. So they've got to play it slow and get their hypercharges and just try to then have that tide turning moment, as they've done so pretty consistently, in this set. But nonetheless, VN Esports playing a really good game. Continued taps on the left-hand side from Rama. There, onto Semantic, and he has got that blue star, so that transfers over. It's moments like that which can really change the course of a game.
Yeah, wall breaks there, Buzzco being forced back even further, but there's nowhere else to run. In comes Lenane, gonna get the shots in, there's the kill as well. Gotcha gadget still over his head, having these heals coming back to him. Homemade recipe not gonna find the connection either, but the hack down on Drage does bring him a bit low, resets that healing, but hypercharge ready for Lenane to strike. Drage still working on his, but when he gets it, it's gonna be pretty devastating for VN.
I think Rama looking to maybe go for a break on this left-hand side to open things up, and if he's not, he probably should be, as Drage then goes in on Buzzco with the help of Lenar, but it's actually maybe it's going deep into the spawn. He's getting a lot of damage down to Semantic, comes back, oh, what a pickaxe! Flying hook back as well just to keep the distance. What a play from that man!
Buzzco's trying to survive, but Lenane going in with the spirit. He jumps straight over it. The shot's still coming in, 1 star in between them. Drage has got a super gotcha gadget used down to 1 shot on the left. Rama's so low, but in they're going, and VN are all falling, but Mebius looking for redemption going forward, gets the kill, but it's not enough as Fut Esports hold on to those 2 extra stars and take Bounty.
Oh my word, how exciting was that? I mean, what a set from both sides. Really showing the draft in all its glory. I mean, towards the later stages of that last game, the defense mechanisms of VN Esports was stupendous. I mean, the jump from Rama, everything just going the way of VN Esports until those final turnaround moments. Just in that last game as well, where maybe was able to survive one at the very end. But I mean, that was honestly a battle. Really, really was a battle, but one that VN Esports had to have go in their favor now. For Esports tearing away with a lead, 2 sets to 0.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, it really was a big, big battle between these two teams. Spirit was perfectly jumped over there by Rama. Brilliant stuff from him, but at that point, no jump, no escape, nothing he can do. Only one of those dashes actually hit for Lenane there, so not what he really wanted. Maybe it's almost brought things back towards the end there, but just not enough to close that gap.
What a great set. I mean, it's just so enjoyable, but, Fut Esports are coming out of it stronger. Every now and again, we get a game go the other way, but it's those sets where it really kind of matters to getting those results on the board. And for VN Esports, this is now the time to try to reverse sweep this set. And that's not going to be easy against, in my opinion, like the #2 team of this region. I say of this region because
they're the #1 team in this region.
Yeah, they are in this region, technically, yeah. Nouns, of course, coming from the South America region. So I still feel like they are the #1 team in Europe at the moment. And they are demonstrating themselves on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I mean, this looks brilliant for Fut, but not without saying that VN have really been fighting back. You know, they've got a game in both of these sets that they've lost, and it really couldn't be closer inside these sets. Obviously, with the 2-0 scoreline, Fut Esports have got a brilliant head start on them now, and it's going to be 3 in a row for VN. And against a team like Fut Esports, I just can't see that happening.
And to be honest as well, like, VN Esports are playing so well. I mean, they deserve a set, as far as I'm concerned, somewhere in this series. And they are, you know, that team which absolutely can stand the heat against Fut Esports, but it's just those tiny increments, tiny margins. It really is. Hot potato up next. Bans being the Bull, the Ems, and the Cordelius for Fut Esports, the Barley, the Willow, and the Dynamite. First pick of Colette. Love that. Love that for Fut. I mean, certainly for me, I think Colette's best highest mode is probably either Safe Zone or Kaboom Canyon, probably Kaboom Canyon. But, I mean, it can still absolutely work, especially when you ban out the Ems as well, which I think is one of those brawlers which can be quite troublesome. The Lu coming in for VN Esports, but they're already banning out the Bull. I mean, still though, Lu can get just so much value. It's
Lu's
never
against everything. Yeah, I mean, never mind just tanks nowadays. As soon as you get that hypercharge, you're freezing out any brawler in pretty good fashion. You know, Colette's a great first pick. I love the fact that they've got the hypercharge that comes along with it. But Lu, you know, I could argue that it's just as good as that Colette is as a first pick, and it's what VN have got, and they've got another pick to go on top of it as well. So I like the bans that were brought in by Fut Esports. You know, they knew what they wanted to go for. They banned out 3 throwers, and you kind of expect them not to go tanks because of that. So I think a bit of control is definitely warranted by Fut at the moment, but Rico's going to come in from VN Esports. I like that, but I feel like it's been very out of meta as of recent.
Makes me very sad.
I know it does.
It really hits me hard. I mean, the multiple launcher gadget, though, is devastating on the safe. I can see it working really well, and I love that brawler. It's my favorite brawler, so bring it in wherever you like, as far as I'm concerned, VN Esports. Colt from Fut. I mean, that is the boldest pick I think I've seen.
Even bold.
Yeah, in their drafts for a long time. But hey, you know, they were against Nouns into that Cold pick in Kaboom Canyon. That's what actually lost that 5th and final set in that matchup. So maybe they took that a bit, you know, bit to heart, and going away to the drawing board, think that actually, let's scrim that out, let's try it out. I'm hoping for their sake it can work out, but certainly some dangerous ideas in their front as they combine the roughs with it.
I mean, the thing is, you know, Rico's going to be better when those walls are up, but they're not going to be lasting very long with, what, 4 Colt gadgets, roughs breaks and stuff as well. So it's not really the worst of picks. I'm going to see the Chuck come in. And
favorite brawler trap.
I hate seeing this on Heist, but to be honest, you know, now I'm seeing it, I just hope Fut can deal with it, otherwise it's going to be a pretty bad time for them.
Yeah, it's just consistent persistence, and you know,
consistent persistence.
Yeah, yeah, it's a tough thing to deal with.
Wordsmith over here.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you're very complimenting to me today. Are you feeling all right? Did you get a knock on the head today? It's very weird. It makes me suspicious more than anything else.
Planning something in the background.
Yeah, well, you got up your sleeve. But, I mean, just to say, out of this draft, by the way, there's only one brawler, which is reminiscent of the SK Gaming set. Just to kind of reiterate home how much different the drafts are. But this is kind of more what I would expect to see. Certainly the Rico, definitely the one that I expect to see the least, but the one that I'm happiest to see. But that's for biased reasons.
Yeah, Lane's getting it out there as well. Not the best of starts for him, but Drage looking towards that safe, and he's going to be dealing so much damage. 3 clips and 17% disappears from the VN Esporting safe. Setting up some more of these checkpoints now, ready to chug his way along them. Rama pushing forwards, has another super in hand, but a great super from Lane cleans him up. That's a clear pathway towards that safe though, and Busco, he's doing well, but nice shots from Semantic, and the break should be following soon.
Yeah, Fut Esports so far in this early outset, just absolutely valuing their time on the offense. Getting some good taps on the truck on the way through as well, but Rama is going to get some good landing firepower on the safe as well. Coming back for a defense, Drage there does land some super shots, bring it down to 50%, but this Chuck is the problem, and over time, it is going to go the way of VN Esporting unless Fut Esports get a handle on things. Maybe it's those low HP can't really contest Drage, and that's bringing in more value for Fut Esports. Now, along with the hypercharge coming in as well onto the safe, he gets the super, it's done! It's surely done! That is the power of that brawler!
I mean, not just the power of that brawler as well, how well Drage was playing to delay them and allow Lenane to get into that position just shows how well Fut play together. I mean, he had a power-up, he was raining down damage on that safe, and you know, as soon as Lenane's got that hypercharge and can get into a position, Drage knows the game's over, and that's exactly what he was stalling for, and it's just sad that VN Esporting couldn't see it coming.
Well, this is now match point for Fut Esports. Is today Challenge Day 5 the day of the sweeps? I mean, this could be the second of the day, and that's a scary prospect. Absolutely so, when you look at that kind of lead that Fut Esports are establishing forwards. And look at this. I mean, they're already in such an affirming role, and maybe it's low. Lenan in position, Drage getting tapped. The save almost shredded down to 50%.
Oh, dearie me, and I'm loving the voice breaks here as well. Arkle going to come in. Hypercharge available too. Just needs that super. Drage going to fall eventually, but that's already 60% gone. Now shots coming through. Maybe you should be able to get the stun, but not without him getting another shot towards that super. And this is a lot of percentage that they have to claw back here. Rama's going to get evade that super nicely, but should still fall down here. Samantha cleans him up. Super ready for Lenane, and maybe it's going to go down. Goodbye to the VNE Sporting safe, as now Fut are pushing forward. It's Hypercharge activated, and he can't be too far off getting this done. 10% left, and Rama left the safe to fend for itself. Maybe it's there, stops the super in its tracks, which would have done it. Nice from him, but there's so much for them to claw back.
To point out, I've had a throat infection all season, by the way. Thanks for rubbing that in. But this one, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, no spins from none of the pins. It's done. Drage with the final blow. Fut Esports make it a clean 3-0.
I mean, at that point, what can they do? And I mean, that's just punishment for picking Chuck, and I couldn't be more happy to see that brawler get absolutely destroyed. Sonny, what do you make of it?
Well, honestly, I agree with you, Troy. I don't like Chuck being so strong in heist especially, and it kind of hurt to be an esports team trying it even. Today it seems like we don't want to see any of those creative picks. It just doesn't work out in the end for esports, sweeping them off their feet, which makes this also their second sweep in a row.
I love that. I love it. What a great match to watch. I actually quite liked how even it was throughout the gem grab and the bounty. But if I'm being totally honest, obviously that was Fut were entirely in control that whole time. I bet you guys were extremely happy that the chuck didn't work out. And I get the frame of shame, courtesy of Ark, hand delivered. I love it. You know what? This once, I'll hold on to it. Sunny. An exciting match. Don't zoom in on me. That's not fair. You don't do that to anyone else.
Zoom in.
So I've got to say, these guys did not seem particularly convinced about the Colt pick from Fut going into that. But then again, it worked out, right?
It did, definitely. I liked the draft from Fut Esports today. I liked the communication between them. It really seemed like they all pulled on the same string, even better than what they showed us in last week.
I feel like, from my perspective, watching that, the kind of key word that came out of that match for me was composure. Fut Esports seem to be able to pick their moments a lot better, to actually hold back, take their time, and just choose when was best to attack, when was best to retreat, maybe gather a bit more health back before re-entering. And they know that VNE Sporting are going to continuously push and go for that aggression. And again, came down to adapting, didn't it, Trav?
It really did. And I mean, how well they adapted in the first set specifically. And I mean, after that, it kind of seemed like they were in control. Even through Bounty, their draft, I think, was just that bit better, bit of a counter going on. But that first set, the adaptations made were really, really nice from Fut Esports. After that first game, you know, all they did was pretty much swap lanes, and domination just came for them. But Drage plays that nanny so well. And, you know, we kind of mentioned that we weren't convinced about it. I mean, I think maybe opinion might have changed.
Speaking of individuals as well, we didn't really see a huge amount of solo action like we have seen in the previous days in the Snapdragon, well, in the challenge season, Snapdragon Pro Series challenge season is what I was going to say, mental. But Lenan wasn't really making a huge impact by himself. Now, again, we talk a lot about synergy. We know that Fut Esports, you know, they love to play as a unit, but often Lenan does show up, and we didn't see a huge amount until kind of the tail end of the gem grab arc, right?
Yeah, I think, well, the brawlers he was playing today were kind of different from what we've seen him really shine with in the past. When you put him on like a Rosa, for example, it's very apparent when he's making those huge plays. I think that, you know, the Colette in the heist was where that kind of all turned around and changed for me. The Tara in Gem Grab was doing a good amount of work, but it's kind of like was almost like waiting on Drage to make those opening plays, to kind of have that peep to whistle down the HPs, then come in and utilize those gadgets. But certainly I think that that's what's making Fut so enjoyable for me this series, is because they are mixing up their brawlers, and they are, for me, the team that have really adapted to the meta as quickly as they possibly can compared to others, and that's what's making them shine. They're picking the right brawlers, but their communication clearly is working wonders because everyone is a well-oiled unit.
So maybe the keywords are actually composure and adaptation, which is Fut Esports showing both. That's why they can sweep 2 teams in a row. Now not putting Lena on those tanks anymore because we have hypercharged brawlers incoming with tank counter possibilities. And yeah, very well played by Fut Esports in every single position.
Very well played indeed. Fut Esports remain in the driver's seat for now, but remember, we're only halfway through day 5. There's still plenty of action to come, and another titanic clash approaches. An undefeated Nouns Esports are going to be going up against Humble right after this very quick break.
Welcome to the place where dreams come true, where everything you want can be yours, if and only if you're willing to work for them, you're willing to hurt for them, but most of all,
The Snapdragon Pro Series powered is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, Monster Energy, and DHL.
Welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series. My name is Barney, and I'm joined by Ark, Trav, and Sunny in the studio. And our next match, we're halfway through the day so far, our next match has the potential to throw our leaderboard into disarray because we have the top of the pack. Nouns Esports are going up against second place, Humble. And let's just say, for the sake of intensity, Sunny, I would kind of lean towards Humble, not just because they're Brits, but because it's going to send the leaderboard into a very, very even keel going into the last 2 days of competition. Do you agree?
That would be very interesting. I do actually agree with you there. We would have 4 teams then in 4-1, which would be lovely to see, honestly. Today's also the day of 3-0 sweeps, though, and I don't know if Humble can pull that one off against Nouns.
Ooh, a 3-0 sweep would be spicy, but I've got both boys next to me, Ark and Trav, shaking their head at the prospect of Nouns losing to Humble. Well, maybe not Trav, but Ark, what do you think?
My boys, Nouns, mate. They're my goats.
My boys.
They're my boys, mate. They're going to come out on top today. And you know, honestly, this season, I've been saying this time and time again in my head every week, where I kind of like really highly vouch for a team, and then they just don't shine and bring home.
They don't know you, little bro.
I'm going to keep with that strategy, man. Nouns are the goats. They are my goats, and they're going to bring a win. That's all I have to say.
What's the history between these two teams looking like then, Ark?
Well, it's actually one of those matchups where we have seen a little bit in the past, but mainly just in the Split 1 Cup stages, in the Cups 4 and 6, and they both went the way of Nouns. They kind of already thrown down the gauntlet in that regard, but they were kind of in the early stages of those qualifyings, round 32, round of 8, so nothing really towards the top-end grand final stages. But as we've seen over the coming weeks, Motep, Pekka, Firecrow, and of course their coach Brawl really have just brought so much feist into the EU and MENA region from South America, and they are the team to beat for me at the moment. I love Humble in equal measure, by the way. No, the boys are fantastic. But, I mean, if they are able to cause an upset here today, I mean, that will be a statement, nonetheless, that will just resonate this competition.
Trav, you've been openly chatting about the fact that Humble might have Nouns' number, but, you know, let's look at Nouns for just 2 seconds. You know, they've been taken the distance twice this season out of their 4 matches, so they're definitely not unbeatable. It's just no one seems to be able to finish the job. Why do you think that Humble possibly could do that?
I don't, to be honest. Like,
What?
I don't know.
I
You don't?
I think
You're
both.
goats, though.
Like, listen, they can still be my goats. Look at the names. Look at the names. Tell me they're not my goats. Like, Luki, Cyclone, Tomzy, and Filippo. Great players. And I think they've genuinely played so well this season. And I think they could beat them. But I don't think they will. There's a difference, you know? There's a big
You
difference.
smell that? It smells like backtracking to me.
What kind of scent does backtracking have?
Well, we can't smell it. It's backtracking.
Sonny, you love to relay back to the stats. You love to kind of look at all this from like a wider perspective, let's just say. When it comes to the stats, I'm guessing things lean in the favor of Nouns Esports coming into this?
Hey, your guess might be just correct right now. Do we already go down to predictions? Or?
Yeah, why not? Why don't you kick us off?
I'm going to say another 3-1.
Okay.
It's not going to be a sweep. Humble at least wins 1 game.
Okay. The favour of Nouns. I'm feeling that like Ark is having some similar thoughts, but he's still looking confused at the prospect of Trav leaning towards Humble. What's wrong, Ark?
Didn't you guys just say that you were like all for Humble to win this a minute ago? And now it's like copying me. In the words of Trav, I feel like you guys are copying me.
Listen. There's a difference between thinking they can win and thinking they are going to win.
Oh my goodness. Right, Ark,
is
let's
it
come
coming
to
out
you
of
for
his
your
mouth?
prediction. You know we can go backtrack left and right. Come on.
What we know is it's safe zone up first. Bans are in. Nouns banning out the Heave, the 8-bit, and the Chuck. I don't mind the Chuck ban here, actually. Often forgotten by many a team. The Piper ban, the Nanny, and the Chuck by Humble here on the right-hand side as well. Colette first pick. I mean, I was saying...
They
just in the
already
last
won.
Set. Sorry?
They already won.
I mean, Colette is like the best brawler to have in safe zone and Kaboom Canyon. I literally said that on the last cast, and you know, I mean, Fut made it work in Hot Potato, and you know, I think in safe zone, it's that brawler with the hypercharge where you just have a very, very good starting hand, if not arguably the best hand with the bans in the motion. The Brock first pick by Humble, which is like one of those safer brawler kind of ideas to have. I kind of feel like the 8-bit being banned is quite smart by Nouns, because that's definitely going to have been the follow-up otherwise. But certainly the Brock could have some good opening of the map, and the rockets onto the safe as well can shred through it. The Incinerary. It's one of those brawlers that is very much catered to the highest game mode, so I don't necessarily mind it. Shelly, though, can get some value, but you're not necessarily going to be, you know, ensuring that you're going to get value unless the opposition pick tanks. So back over to Nouns for what they want to bring next, but so far I'm kind of preferring what they're bringing.
I've got 3-1 from Sonny, sorry. What about yourself, buddy?
I think that Nouns could 3-0 sweep this, to be honest, but I'm going to give maybe, actually no, I'm not, 3-0, yeah. Stay with it.
I got a 3-1, I got a 3-0. Trav, what are you saying?
Ark's not going to be happy.
You're going to say Nouns,
I'm
aren't you?
going to say 3-0 Nouns.
Oh!
It's copying.
Ark
Copying.
is
Straight up
furious. Trav, Sonny, please be upstanding and go next door to the caster desk. And let's be honest, this next matchup will most likely speak for itself. But can Humble be the first to stop Nouns in their tracks and level up that leaderboard going into the 2 final days of the challenge season? It is Nouns going up against Humble.
Very interesting matchup at our hands, and both of the guys predicted another 3-0 sweep here. Might just happen, and this would be the shortest match day we ever had in the history of the Snapdragon Pro Series.
Yeah, I mean, 3-0s seem to be flying by today, so I won't be surprised if this one goes the same way. Bell going to be the next pick along with the Cordelius from Nouns. I think there are a solid couple of picks, especially with the Shelly there. I think Cordelius is probably a good shout. Humble obviously had their last pick, though. And they're going to go with the B. A bit more B we're going to be seeing today, but this time it's on safe zone, which I feel like it's just that little bit better than it is in hot potato.
Yeah, I agree with
Fair
you.
to say.
They have a lot of control, definitely, with the Shelly and the B pick, but then they also have Colette as their opponent. And we've seen how strong Colette is now with her hypercharge, arguably one of the best ones, especially on any single heist map. So I do like both drafts, I have to say, but I still have to go with Nouns here.
Yeah, I think we all do at this point as well. I think even Banks would agree, as much as he likes going against the grain. So we'll see if they do manage to take this one down. I think draft-wise, I kind of think that Nouns have it as well with the Calais. It's just so good. We saw the power of it in hot potato when Lenane did manage to bring it in. Jump coming in early on them from Pekka, trying to take control of his side instantly. And against the Shelly, if he can get control of this bush, then he can be in a decent position. But Clay Pigeon quickly shuts the idea down.
Great play there, right? Filippo gets one, gets two, Firecrow falls as well. Motep, the last man standing from the side of Nouns, also falling now, giving Humble the floor in mid. Complete control from them now. Looking very strong at the moment, trying to get some percentages onto safe, but not really managing to do so at the moment.
Yeah, well, a little jump coming in from Pekka now. Just trying to get his super, but actually gets the kill and gets the super along the way, so can't complain at that. But Lukey coming down the right-hand side has that super available, and obviously Insignia is going to do so much to the safe. Motep can't find any connections, but a mark on Cyclone he's not going to be too pleased about. There's Pekka going in now, picking up a couple of mushrooms along the way and looking for the kill onto Filippo. Should be able to get it here. Does get that, might be able to clean up Cyclone too, but a nice honeypot coming down, but the jump's perfect from Pekka. He gets the kill, but chooses to take no damage off the safe. The little damage gear Motep will do a decent amount, though.
Lukey getting the takedown there onto Firecrow. Getting a super onto safe. Not the full one though. It's still Fut Esports looking a lot stronger. That are still in the lead for now. Motep and Pekka both one shot. Have to fall back to heal up there. Great dodges coming in from Pekka there. Still surviving. Finally taken out by Cyclone there. Humble again with the mid control. They just claim it back immediately after Fut Esports manages to push up.
Still not in the lead though. That connection from Cyclone will put them 1% up. But a nice gadget being used from Motep here, getting a good amount of heals back. Has the hypercharge, has the super, but Filippo's going to use his as well. Ooh, great control coming in from Humble. Kills going left, right, and center, and more damage going down onto the safe. Pekka in a great spot to be able to get his super off Filippo. But at this point, there's a lot of damage on their safe and not really much response from Nouns.
Oh, Filippo trying to go into safe, immediately taken into Shadow Realm by Pekka. Motep now dashing into safe. No hypercharge available for him for now. 40 seconds left on the clock. And still it's Humble that is looking a lot stronger. Filippo even managed to get some more damage in. Great plays by him. 30 seconds now for Nouns to still turn things around.
Pekka's finding some good ground down this mid though. Ficro needs to get this kill. Cyclone slow there onto Pekka. Motep's low as well. Needs to evade this. Super comes down from Pekka. That's going to open up quite a bit of room for Nouns Esports. Gets the kill. Wants to try and cycle it here as well. Filippo low. Super comes in from Motep. Great stuff from him. And now the percentage is quickly crumbling. The lead is going, but the tanks should be there. The bounces though. Firecrow trying to find the way through, but it's just not going to be enough. Pekka coming back in though. 3 seconds on the clock, and I don't think he can get it done. 5% make it is the decider, and Humble going to take game 1.
Very close match indeed, as we see 5 percentages is all that it took Humble to win this one. Now, the next one, if Humble manages to get a good start just like they did now, they can claim the set win after we just bashed onto their comp all day long.
Hey, you know, I think it was a decent combo. I just kind of preferred Nouns', but at the end of the day, we'll see if they manage to make some reparations here, or if more of the same will come down and Humble take this first set. Peck again in better positioning this time, but actually the honeypot going to be doing quite a lot of work through the slowing. Super available for both Filippo and Pekka when he does respawn, but instantly Humble in control yet again, and it's more of the same.
Luke and Cycle with some great pinches, get both long-range brawlers from the side of Nouns down right from the get-go. Pekka now taking Filippo into his super. Manages to get the takedown finally. Probably also finds Cyclone, gets killed by Lukey there. In the end, still a great push by him. His teammates might be able to get some mid-control now, but there's Lukey still standing in Motep's way. Triple tap, and with that, he's falling.
Yeah, beautiful from Firecrow there, but Pekka not in the best of positions. Clay Pigeon being used as well here from Filippo. Super goes forward by Motep, finds the safe, does survive as well, just slightly, and so does Firecrow. Pekka still looking pretty healthy on the right-hand side. Mark on Cyclone, but good kill yet again from Luke. He's doing God's work in this game for Humble. Motep going to use that gotcha gadget, try to get some heals back. Oh, hypercharge available as well, but not going to be able to find the safe just yet as Filippo takes him down yet again. I feel like Humble is doing such a good job of shutting them down.
we didn't really see a lot of Shelly picked because she was always manned out, and now we see why Flipper doing so much work, getting Pekka, finding the kills every single time they interact now. Hypercharge is popped by Motep, does find a connection once, and takes the lead for Nouns for now.
Filippo gets the kill again. Hypercharge available for him, but Pekka should be able to clean him up, or Cyclone, one of the two he should be able to go for. Jump comes in, but he does get the shot onto him. Falls low. Hypercharge can be used from Filippo there as well, but Motep it's cleaned up. Ficro just missing his shots, and Filippo does survive that one as well. 2% now is the difference between these two teams, and Humble continue on with the lead.
I like what I see. Filippo dodging those shots there, surviving, still managing to keep mid-control. Humble had mid-control for about 80% of this whole game, claiming back the lead for now. 30 seconds left on the clock, and now it's not even in reach of safe at the moment. Still some damage rumbling in from Humble at the moment. Filippo still doing so much work, finds another takedown onto Motep.
I mean, Lukey's finding so many shots. Pekka gets the kill, but gets traded out as well. This set's surely going to be going to Humble. Ficro trying to push forward, but 10 seconds on the clock, just not enough time to get this damage done. Even with this hypercharge from Motep, I'm sure it's not going to be done. Actually, some damage coming down, a lot of it as well, almost, but not enough. Just tanked out by Humble, and more of the same, as it's only 6% this time, but Humble still take the set.
What a game. Humble doing so much work there, just holding on to mid-control, playing it pretty defensively, and still managing to pull off in the end. Lukic is always defending, it seemed like. Cyclone on his side, and then Filippo opening up those very important windows, getting the takedowns, winning his 1v1s. We see some of them just now in the highlights as well. So well played by him.
Yeah, I mean, hard to hit when he's got that hypercharged speed. But I think Nouns should have really cleaned him up there, and he did such a great job of just delaying, allowing Brock and B to take some shots at that safe in this portion of the game, and that's really what put them in a position to be able to kind of climb back as Nouns started this comeback, but just couldn't quite do it. Spirit got some damage, and then Pekka and Motep tried to come in, but it was just more of the same, just tanking in that late game that kind of held the position down for Humble.
Yeah, I was pretty convinced when I saw that Colette coming out of Nouns that they would win this set, but somehow Humble had an answer for it. And sometimes you don't need to pick the meta brawlers, sometimes you just need to have an answer, and it seemed like Humble did do their homework this time around, which is something that we usually hear from Nouns. They always study their opponents, they're so good at it, but Humble seemed to have a lesson in it and doing it even better now.
Yeah, I mean, Humble, they really just played that one really well. They played the range game, and I think that's exactly what they needed to do. As soon as they saw that Colette come in, you can't really blame them for picking up the Brock, picking up that B, staying out of the range of the Colette and playing it really, really nicely throughout pretty much the entirety of it. But we will be heading to Shooting Star up next. RT, Nanny, and Piper are going to be the bands coming in from Nouns Esports. Want to get rid of that range that Humble have just dismantled them with. And then the Meg, the Mortis, and the Grey going to be banned out from Humble. First pick of Tick, which is not something I've seen in quite a while.
Because it's usually banned out, right? We don't really see Tick on this map anymore, even though I still feel like it's one of his best maps and modes. Tick coming out of the side of Humble, Grom is going to be the answer for Nouns, which makes a lot of sense. You either have to pick something very aggressive, Max Grey or Jean even are usually the mids we see otherwise, or you can go with the same kind of rhythm, going with a thrower here alongside the Mandy, which obviously isn't one of the best. We're not the biggest fans here, but they made it work before, why not again?
Yeah, I don't think Mandy's bad. I think they need the range considering they've literally the ones who have banned out so many of them, and obviously that's because Humble had that first pick. Don't really want to provide them with much of that range early on that can't be countered, but Mandy, probably a good shout from them. They need something down one of those lanes to play the range, but we're back over to Humble now for their next two picks, and they clearly didn't want Nouns to bring the aggression. They're going to go with a Bell, try and even out that range a little bit. Not going to have the same value, but still those marks can do so much.
And it's also one of those brawlers that can survive a Mandy super, which is something that Humble could look out for now. Going with Jean now wouldn't even be the worst idea, simply because he has a lot of HP in his hands. We don't really have that many options for long-range brawlers open. We did see a Goss come out last week. I didn't really love it, but he would technically be available still as well. Humble just needs something with range now. Not really trying to go with the aggressive pick here usually, but they do this time around. Feng is going to come out of them already. Now Esports still with the last pick can go very well with something that counters him, but I don't mind it here. Against the Mandy and the Grom, he's going to have a great time.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like they kind of just needed to account for something like that Carl coming in. They didn't really want to test. I feel like if they took another range, another like kind of passive brawl, and the Carl would just be able to swoop in and do a lot of that damage. the flying hook and the super as well. So Nouns going to have to kind of pivot off probably what they were originally choosing to go for now. But, you know, a brawler that counters Fang really can't be that hard to find in this kind of late portion of the game. And there it is, it's the B. They're just going to be...
Is it the B?
I mean, it is on the screen.
I know, but is it the brawler that they needed to find to counter the Fang? I feel like if I have a super with my Fang, B is not going to be a problem at all.
I mean, they're just going to try and prevent him getting super, right? I think that's kind of the name of the game. The name of the game when you face any tank, to be honest with you, on a map like this, I feel.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree with you on that one. B can very well win against Fang, but at some point he will have a super, and all 3 targets on the side of Nouns Esports now pretty squishy, I have to say. I do like the come from Humble a tad bit better simply because of that. Nouns Esports needs to play this one perfectly, needs to tap every single time. If they do so, they can win it, of course.
Yeah, well, we'll see if that's how it does play out. Fycro going to stand still early on in the game, try to get that extra range added on. Motep already being hit by that tick, clearly outranged at the moment, but Pekka pushing forward against his Fang, and I mean, this is kind of what we expect with the range game. Should be able to dominate this right-hand side until he gets that super, then it's going to be a bit of an issue. Head already coming out, and Motep going to use that watchtower to tank it.
Now it's going to be Humble pushing up here, getting the mid control. Blue Star still on Motep though, still Nouns Esports in the lead with it. Fycro's one shot gets tapped there by Philip, a well played by them, and Humble takes over the lead.
Humble playing an absolute dream of a game here. Pekka being pushed back down this right side as well, and with this tick, with the control of that unbreakable wall, not really got that much ability to pinch for the side of Nouns Esports. He should just be able to sit behind it. Down goes the tick, tanks that shot beautifully and keeps that Fang alive. Pekka can be feeling pretty angry about that one as his pin is expressing, but Motep regaining some control. Cyclone not able to push forwards as Motep's got control.
Luke again tapped there on the right-hand side. So the Cyclone though, he's falling. Pekka now as well, still Humble in the lead. As soon as Nouns Esports claims it, they just take it back immediately. Oh, what a combo there on the left-hand side. Fycro almost able to take out the Bell on the left-hand side, but just misses his super despite Cyclone being slowed there.
The rattle high from Pekka beautifully kills down Lukey there, but he does have that super, and that's going to have to be something that Fycro is going to be very, very cautious about. Grom Bomb available as well from Motep, so Humble have to be very careful, have to be controlled about this aggression that they're going to have to use. Pekka going to go down now, and that gives the lead straight back over to Humble. Grom Bomb comes down, but not finding any connections. 25 seconds on the clock, and I know he will have wanted to keep that, as now it's not going to be the best of times pushing forward.
Humble switched lanes now, very well done by them, as Feng is going to have an easier time against the Mendy on the left-hand side. 13 seconds left on the clock now for Nouns Esports. Will they get the takedown? Taken out themselves now with Fycro, the last man standing. Only Mendy left. It's going to be such a tough job here, and he doesn't pull it off. Humble takes the win over the first game here in Shooting Star.
I mean, Filippo is 6 stars. He was the man who got a lot of those kills, and with Tick, you kind of don't really expect it too much. Yes, Tick's going to dominate, but he's not the person to usually get the kills. So Humble definitely playing that well, and Tick playing it pretty much perfectly. There's going to have to be some changes now for Nouns Esports because they're falling further and further behind as every game goes past. So Humble, they're just probably going to want to be keeping things the same and try getting the second set in the bag, because if you're 2 sets up against Nouns Esports, you're still not going to be feeling comfortable, but you're going to be feeling a bit better about yourself.
Pekka tapping up Lukey there on the left-hand side. Does he get the takedown? Fancy connection with Filippo there as well, but falls in the end to even Filippo himself there. Filippo doing so much work on that tick. Are you still feeling bad about this pick?
I mean, I never felt bad about the tick. It's always very, very solid, but I feel as a first pick, it isn't usually what people kind of gravitate towards. Pekka's going to be marked up now, and in comes Lukey, but he's actually going to miss that super. Tickhead going to be placed down. Fycro is going to super through that and actually still survive that one out, regardless of that 600 HP that he was on. Standing still for a solid amount of time as well. And it is only 2 stars, but the blue star is in Humble's hands as well. Pekka now trying to pin Cyclone in this back corner. Motep helping out, but not finding any hits just yet. Now it's just Lukey trying to find another super on this Fang, because he's going to be the one to deflate the pressure.
We haven't really seen much Lukey action so far. Couldn't really do much on the Fang, and also doesn't really have to, since Humble's still holding on to that 2-star lead there. Slow down onto Motep, places a gadget. Still not going to help him though. Lukey comes in, gets 1, gets 2. That's 13 stars now. Fang still as strong as ever. This nerf didn't really hit him that hard.
I mean, beautiful stuff from Humble. It genuinely is. 40 seconds still on the clock. They're 9 stars up, but that's not beyond a comeback. We'll make it a bit more now as it comes to 11. Fycro surely going to go down here as well, and if he doesn't, I'm going to be worried about what Humble are doing. Cyclone is going to fall, and that does close the gap. Now, Motep's got to be very cautious. His death will cause the end of the game. And that's something that they're really going to have to account for, because now they've got to control this aggression and they've got to get a lot of kills and more kills on top of it. Super comes down from Firecrow, not going to get any connections. Filippo gets the kill, Pekka survives just narrowly. And down this Super comes, Grombomb hits. It's so close. If he goes down, it's going to be a huge comeback. Shots coming through, Filippo's low as well. Down he goes to Andy. Oh, no, make it happen. Humble don't win it, and they clutch up the comeback.
I was about to say they need 9 stars. They only need to take and defang and turn things around, but what a tough pill for Humble to swallow in that one. Luki falling in the last second there. Very, very hard hitters there from the side of Nouns Esports. They make it happen. Again, a much better start from the side of Humble, but if you make those last few seconds counts like Nouns just did, you can still win. In the end, we're heading into our 3rd game now. Can Nouns Esports still turn things around here and even out the score in sets?
Well, Nouns definitely more in control of this one than Humble are at the moment. Have that blue star in hand and just playing this one slow. Got the Fang versus B match from the left-hand side, which is probably what they desire. Some good shots coming through from Firecrow, brings him down very, very low, and now some great Grom shots too, bringing Filippo and Fang low as well. Luki needs to be cautious. I believe that was a gadget there from Firecrow from the right to the mid. Super available now as well. Rattled Hive hitting Filippo hard, and he is going to go down, but slow, and he does get a kill as well for his time. Not the best of trades, but at the end of the day, they're still ahead, and they're going to be pleased about it.
We have some shots incoming from Filippo now, trying to push Nouns back into spawn once again. Humble at the moment still need a kill to turn things around. Here a great super coming in from Firecrow, doesn't find a kill though. And Luki now is super just waiting for the perfect moment to push in with the Fang.
Rattled Hive used once again, and it is Humble who need to aggress at this point, but still 50 seconds on the clock, so they've got time to make it happen. Super comes out of Firecrow, not finds any connections, and obviously Last Stand was used, or Last Hurrah was used there from Filippo. Luki gaining some ground, Super comes in, not going to be able to tank much there. Another one and a follow-up too, but he does go down, trading out. The Tickhead should be able to pick up this kill though, but it actually still doesn't go down, which means it's still going to have to be dealt with. Grombomb comes in, but it's still that lingering Tickhead that does so much work for Humble. 13-9, but we saw what Nouns are capable of in the last. They've got to do it again. Slows there, and maybe the kill, but Motep doesn't find it, gets slowed himself, and that's going to be an issue.
Now the Tickhead coming in, trying to get it down, does manage to do so. 15 seconds left on the clock now for Nouns to turn things around. We've seen this before. Nouns Esports can certainly do it. They only need 2 kills after all. Filippo and Cyclone, should it be another Tickhead getting getting takedowns left and right. Luki doing so much work in that Fang there. In the end, making it count for Humble, having a great start every single time. Now also the better finish. But honestly, this whole set has just been carnage.
I mean, that was really beautiful. These plays that are coming out of Luki, I mean, in this second game, it was kind of overshadowed by the comeback that Nouns managed to make in those closing seconds. 12-17 at this point. 2 people fall down, and it's pretty much game over. Filippo does drop here as well, and, you know, all the tanking in the world's not going to help you out when you pin back like that. And obviously, they had to be so careful about it as well, because they couldn't just, you know, tank the shots. Some players go down but get the good trades, because literally nobody could fall in those closing seconds.
I would love to see that Tickhead play there again in the bottom left-hand side corner, that they just didn't take down this Tickhead, and then falling to it is like, he was there for like over 20 seconds on the field, why don't you just shoot it? What happens? In the end, Humble 2-0 up, definitely not what we expected. The guys all said it's going to be a 3-0 for Nouns today. Maybe they just didn't do as much studying against Humble because they felt like they're one of the weaker teams. Was it that, or what could it be?
I mean, I don't think it's that. I definitely don't think it's that. I feel like Humble are just playing so well today. They just seem to be drafting on top. I mean, you know, even when we kind of considered them done for because they didn't grab that Colette in the first set, they managed to make stuff happen. They adapt, they pick different brawlers, and I think they're just playing it so smart. And I don't think it's something that kind of Nouns felt they were a weak opponent or anything like that, because they've proved themselves time and time again this season. They're 3-1 coming into this game. They're only 1 game behind what Nouns Esports have achieved themselves. So I don't think you can underestimate an opponent like that, and I don't think Nouns will have. I think just genuinely Humble are playing on top of the world at the moment.
They're playing mechanically beautiful, they're pinching when they need to, and also the draft wasn't bad at all. I really liked that Fang pickup there. Also the tick as first pick worked out beautifully well. And then again, I wasn't really on the side of that B. As you saw, once Luki decides to go in, when one of the 3 is low, he will get a takedown regardless of that B. Maybe that could have been a bit of a better pickup. I'm sure chat is going to have to say something about the draft as well. We're heading into our potentially last set already, Trev.
I mean, we kind of expected it to be a 3-0, or at least a few of us did, just not this way. But Humble can definitely make that happen. They're looking so good right now, and being 2-0 in a position against Nouns Esports is not something that many teams have kind of experienced throughout this entire year, never mind just in the Snapdragon Pro Series. So it's something that Nouns Esports are just not going to be prepared to deal with. This pressure really can come crumbling down on top of them. But Humble, they don't want to get overconfident, they don't want to step out of line, they've got to keep on playing their game, and that's exactly what I'm sure they will be doing. We're heading on, I don't think we're heading on to Shooting Star. Map should change in just a second, but bans are there. The Shelly, the Squeak, and the Nita coming in from Nouns Esports. The 8-bit, the Meg, and the Pam are going to be banned out from Humble.
Once again, a little bang sitting in the back of my mind. I think about the word composure, and this is what Nouns Esports needs right now. The mental game is going to be strong, or needs to be strong right now on this next map. Hard Rock Mine, I think it's going to be. Buster, the first pickup here. I don't mind it, but is he still that strong? We have so many tank counters open right now, a lot of them with hypercharge as well. I do feel like Humble can easily pick up Cordelius, Colette.
Give me a Lucolette right now. Yeah, give me a Lucolette.
It's going to be done for.
Yeah, I mean, Humble, they've surely got to pick up a couple of hypercharge brawlers here, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's that Lucolette. Shelly obviously being banned out, which is another one of those such strong hypercharge brawlers. Nani's going to come in though. I'm sure that's going to be playing down that mid, one of the stronger mids, as they obviously banned out the 8-bit themselves. Now I feel like they've got to add something that is going to counter out this Buster, or as it just might be too much for them to account for the entire comp with that last pick.
Don't mind the Nani, honestly. One of the best mids you can have, especially now that 8-bit is already out of the way. Can do so much also with your peep. Then the Spike coming in. We do have a tank counter, but it's not what we expected at all, really. Spike, of course, is going to do a decent job. Is quite squishy himself, though. So Nouns can even double down, I feel like, now with that tank option they went with already. They still need a mid though, and what do you really play against the Nani? Maybe some max action could come back here. Not the worst synergy with the Buster.
Yeah, I get that. I think it'd be pretty solid to pair up a tank with a max. It kind of puts them into the game that little bit more. But it is going to be that Cordelius that comes out next, and I don't know if that's kind of him accounting for Humble last pick, because it doesn't seem extremely good against anything we've got so far. But they just seem to be trying to gobble up all these really strong brawls at the moment. We're going to see Lola coming down as well, probably through that mid. I think it's a pretty solid pick.
Definitely, those single shot brawlers on the side of Humble are going to struggle a lot against the shadow that Lola is presenting. So Nani Spike, not the best matchup into Lola there. Obviously they have the range advantage, but in Hard Rock Mine you also kind of need to find yourself in mid. Can't really keep a range at all time. And then doubling down on the Buster, kind of what I expected, and also Humble not picking up that Cordelius kind of delivered it to Nouns Esports. Now trying to go with the Rosa themselves. I do like Rosa a tiny bit better than Buster even, so I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, I don't hate it here, and I'm quite surprised that Nouns didn't go for that. It kind of slipped my mind. If you're going for a Sank, surely Rosa's probably the better one at the moment, but I don't know if Buster's just a bit more versatile. I'm clearly not attuned to this kind of thing, and maybe they just kind of slipped their mind as well and allowed Humble to get it, but I do like that Rosa pick. It's not a terrible matchup until she gets that shield, and then you're going to be dominated as a Buster.
Now the question is really, is Nouns Esports comp enough to prevent them from facing the same story here as SK Gaming today already, 3-0?
I mean, it's the story of a lot of teams today, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do get 3-0'd as well. It just seems to be how we're rolling at the moment in the Snapdragon Pro Series through day number 5. Cyclone is going to be playing through this mid, already making some more grass for Lukey here. Some great shots. Ficro's going to fall already, and now they can just kind of hunker down and try bring Pekka down as well.
Ooh. It's rid of the gem carrier. Motep tries to revenge his teammate, doesn't really find the kill, but Cyclone now in the opponent's bushes, and that's exactly where you want to be as the opponent's tank. Cyclone doing an amazing job, and already has collected his hypercharge as well. Pekka trying to take over the mid control here, does fall in the end, so does Filippo. All the gems just lying around. The gem carrier is not really carrying any gems at the moment.
Yeah, well, Lukey's going to be able to grab his super there as well. Ficro places that ego and tanks out a few shots, but doesn't really get too much for it, other than being quite low HP. Peep going to come in, maybe just trying to break some walls, trying to find a connection, hits Pekka as well, slow down onto Motep, and that opens him up to a little bit of aggression from Cyclone. Hypercharge available from him now as well, and that could be a dangerous thing for Nouns Esports. Hypercharge being used from Filippo, going to use this speed, throw out some shots, try get a super of his own. Ficro not going to provide him it just yet. Cyclone just pushing forwards, now gets the super, just comes out hypercharge, but it doesn't matter. Countdown starts from Humble, and this is a match point looming.
14 seconds left on the clock now. They need to take down Lukey, otherwise it's going to go the direction of Humble. Already match point incoming. Let's see if Nouns Esports can still turn things around here. Cyclone defending, Pekka not in range of Lukey. This is going to be Humble getting match point.
I mean, I said they're my goats. I don't want Ark to say I'm backtracking. But it is match point to Humble, and they're looking so good at the moment as well. Nani really providing a lot of work, and even just that tiniest little bit of extra push just helps him out so much against Lola in that mid. Means that she has to scout forwards, or he's just going to keep on picking up these gems. And Humble looking so good right now, and this might be the third sweep of the day.
I would hate that, honestly. I love to see some close games. I don't want to see any more 3-0s, but honestly, Humble, good for you. If you really take that one against Nouns of all the teams, you definitely proved yourself to be worthy of making it to the finals in the end. Again, Luki picking up those middle gems so far. Both gem carries still standing. Cyclone doing so much work, being able to push into the opponent's bushes in the first game. Can he repeat that?
I mean, Cyclone and Felipe are going to have to swap now. Motet being kept low. Ficro getting absolutely destroyed. Peep coming in, hits two of them. Both low. Pekka goes for a jump, but it's not going to save him this time. Ficro not feeling good about this performance, doing a little bit of a jiggle and spawn there. But Motep going to get absolutely destroyed here for Felipe, but actually does get the kill of himself and pops up a shield there. Not really too sure about that. Trying to predict where Cyclone was maybe, but Ficro does use his ego there. Not really getting a lot from it. Cyclone just going to hide behind this wall and wait for it to come out of this Shadow Realm and try to get some work done, but it's 7 gems to 3, and Filippo in a great spot too. Eventually Cyclone going down, but Humble looking good once again.
Motep actually just popped that shield on the bottom right to not get slowed anymore by the Spike Super. Otherwise he would have been dead by the gear alone. Cyclone now rolling around again, trying to go into Motep again, gets the button out. That one, Ficro falls quite low as well. Luki picks up the last gem already. That's the last 15 seconds now for Nouns Esports to still come back from this. They need to take that onto Luki to still prolong into the 4th set.
Oh dearie me, it's not looking like it's going to happen. Ficro pretty low as well. Realm going to be missed. Down goes Pekka, down goes Ficro. And no chances left for Nouns Esports. A little bit of spin up there from Luki, and I think he's earned it. Humble going to take it in a swift 3-0 once again. Make it the 3rd of the day, and I'm sure Ark has something to say about that.
I mean, I was all for a sweep, but that was not the sweep that I was expecting to happen today. I mean, and one of the best sets that I've seen for a long time. How enjoyable was Bounty? I mean, just I was in the backstage area doing clips for the Telestrator. So many. I think we secured 3 really just immensely impressive moments that will just stand the test of time in SPS history. I mean, what an enjoyable set, but again, a very unexpected result as far as I'm concerned, because I did not expect for Nouns to falter. And, you know, I mean, that really has put, for me, Humble on the map. And I've got to give a huge shout out to Filippo, because I mean, I probably won't show it in a moment, but there was a clip in Heist where he was just undefeatable. He stayed on his feet, getting kills and just surviving on for about a solid minute.
I heard you screaming.
I slammed on my cards, and you probably heard that as well. It was just unreal.
I mean, Nouns, consider yourselves humbled. That was absolutely outrageous. The reason why I'm celebrating here with my cool bubble machine is because I'm the only one who has been humbled through. Humbled. I know, mate. Tell me about it. I'm the only one that predicted Humble to get the victory. Ark can attest to that. You guys were over there prepping, doing the draft, but I sat here and I said, I think Humble, I did say 3-2. I thought it would go the distance, but nevertheless,
it was a win.
Extremely impressive from Humble the entire way through. Obviously, going back to the beginning, Nouns, I feel like they opened up extremely aggressive, but almost individually. There wasn't, if we've spoken about it already a lot today, kind of a lack of synergy or backing each other up and allowing each other to kind of almost try and make these solo plays. And it was essentially just feeding Humble these kills. And Humble just had to kind of sit back and maintain their composure, Sonny, didn't they?
Yeah, you usually can tell which team is looking a bit better also by just the amount of time the casters speak about it. And I felt like I couldn't stop praising Filippo there in this high set. Orc mentioned also now in the last one, Cyclone just wrapping around, getting the takedowns, doing so much work with the Rosa. Humble really seemed to be on point today, knowing too well how to play the comps they prepared. And it really seemed like they had some comps in their back prepared already. Today, it didn't look like Nouns Esports knew exactly what was coming against them.
You and Trav did also mention as well some really good counter drafting as well, some good counter picking from Humble in order to kind of maintain distance from Nouns when Nouns were picking those hyper-aggressive brawlers. But we do have the Telestrator ready and raring to go. Ark, I'm going to throw you over there because I know you have plenty of clips to show us. Filippo is absolutely on fire, so I'm imagining we're going to see some of that. So Ark, take it away, my friend.
Sadly not, but it was the first one that came to mind. It was just unreal to watch those moments happen. But, you know, I've got to give it to Humble because, like, they thoroughly deserved that. They really, really did. And, you know, like, every moment could have been just a telestrator to have. Let's have a quick look here. I think it was this one here. Let's load up and see what happens. Yeah, so this was the clip. It was in Bounty. I mean, if you look at the stars as well here, I mean, 4 to 13, like, there's so much work that Nouns have got to do. In this bottom left here, you see just there, Luki going in and Pekka. That's going to increase it more to the 15, and then on the right-hand side here, Firecrow's going to go down in just a minute here, and that's, you know, not really where you want to be. 17 to 4. I mean, a position where, for all intents and purposes, you don't come back. Unless you're Nouns, who sadly couldn't then follow it through to have further glory, but this was just unreal. The right-hand side there, that takedown Cyclone, makes it a lot closer, but it's Motep, really, for me, that was just the man, so keep an eye on him. I mean, just absolutely relentless in these final seconds. It came down to the wire, but I think a lot of credit must go his way. In just a minute as well, on the left-hand side, I think there was a very close call between Pekka and the last hurrah there of Filippo. Yeah, here it comes, pushes him down there to 580 HP. But again, Motep with his final shot will actually be the player to land it, and that blue star will go over as well as the 4 above his head in these final seconds as well. He gains his super, gets the Grom Bomb down, a great connection there as well, but Luki there, 1 tap, another 1, 2, and then 1 more to finalize it there from Motep. Absolutely fantastic stuff, and now from that point I thought we're going to bring it back. We're not able to quite do it, but that was for me one of the most intense endings to a game Bounty we've seen all season long.
Indeed it was, and Ark threw his notes on the table so hard, by the way, when Filippo was absolutely popping off. It was unbelievable. He threw them down. He thought that he'd shocked you guys next door because he was worried, thinking like, oh, they might have heard that. But having spoken about that, Filippo, I've got to also give a lot of praise to Luki in that Bounty map. It was absolutely phenomenal. Just mowing people down and showing absolutely no fear against a Titan team, sorry, like Nouns, Trav.
I mean, I think they all really just played amazingly. Humble just seemed to bring their A game today. And, you know, there's individual plays, as you said. Filippo did some incredible stuff in Heist. Luki had some moments as well. But overall, I think it's just the team play and the drafting that really brought them back this win. And 3-0 against Nouns is a massive statement for the rest of the competition.
Yeah, and this is what's going to be interesting, Sonny, because it's going to be interesting to see how Nouns bounce back from a defeat like this. Because even though they have 4 victories already, it's never a guarantee. Now, okay, let's face facts. Like, they're in a very good position going into this. But if they continue to lose and certain things happen in this leaderboard, I don't think that it's necessarily a 100% guarantee. So what do you feel like Nouns were maybe lacking during that? We've praised Humble, you know, through and through, but what were Nouns lacking throughout that series?
Maybe once again, composure. We talked about it before, and Trev mentioned it during the cast as well. They are just not used to being 0-2 down already, and then losing the 3rd game wasn't really that big of a surprise anymore to me, because again, they're not used to that situation. How do you cope with that? You need to really gain all of your strengths, and this is what usually Zeta Division are so strong with, A&R as well, or Yen Esporting, sorry. But now Esports in this position, I don't know if they can bounce back tomorrow and be back at the top. Maybe they just got a bit too comfortable being in that seat at all times as well. Leaning back now and thinking, oh, Humble, we're going to beat them as well.
I mean, it's a true test of competition. How do you bounce back from a loss? How do you maintain composure? And how do you adapt on the fly? And we're yet to see that, and we look forward to seeing that over the coming days. But I can't believe I'm saying this already, but our final match is almost upon us, and we have 2 teams who are really looking for some retribution at this point. Reply Totem sitting fairly comfortably in the middle of the pack, but also they'll be going up against a team Queso that need to follow in the footsteps of Zeta Division to really get some points on the board and try to build something. Ark's definitely going to have a lot to say about it after the break.
The Snapdragon Pro Series powered by Samsung Galaxy is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, Monster Energy, and DHL.
Welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series. Ark, Trav, and Sunny join me in my living room. I think I need to turn the lights down, otherwise my electricity bill is going to be astronomical. But we have one more match on the card to close out day 5. One of which of these teams, their entire possibility of getting to the challenge finals hangs in the balance, whilst the other team is desperately trying not to be 1-17 in the challenge season. I know Ark's going to love that one, but Trav, I'm going to come to you first. Who'd have thought we'd be in this scenario on day 5? Did you feel like this would be the case?
I did not feel like we were going to see 3 sweeps today so far, at least 3. I say so far because maybe Totem will be able to do it as well in my eyes. I'm not sure about you guys, but I mean, nobody thought we were going to be in this position. The games just seems a lot closer than what we provided, and I think, you know, the biggest surprise is the one we've just seen, Humble sweeping Humble sweeping Nouns. I don't think anybody saw that.
Well, let's focus in. Reply Totem. They've had peaks and troughs over the past few weeks. But, you know, I guess an easier way to describe their form at this point, Sunny, is that they're just a bit underwhelming.
Maybe that's what it is, yeah. I mean, Team Queso, they did end up losing their last 2 matches 3-2. Maybe today's the day where they can turn things around finally and not lose after all. Totem and the other side looking very strong throughout any tournament they played in, but they didn't play in Season 3, so you can't really talk about anything.
It's true. Queso, Ark, your favorite topic of conversation of the past few weeks of the challenge season. What's the, you know, what have they got to do to take out Reply Totem?
Well, it's funny, Sonny says that, you know, Reply Totem were nowhere to be seen in Season 3, but Team Queso were, and didn't have much to say for it. They got 1 win out of all their matches, and then in the previous season to that, lost every single one. So they're actually already on a 1-17. I'm seeing today whether they're going to make it a 1-18. You know, we have not seen much from them, if anything, and, you know, I was expecting better. I mean, coming into the start of the challenge season, I really had high hopes for Queso. They were looking great everywhere else. They just seem to have this kind of SPS curse, and I don't know what it is, but for their sake today, I really hope that they can shake something up, because it has been a disastrous season. You know, nothing but L's on the board. Regarding the matchup with Reply Totem, I mean, it's kind of been a similar story, to be completely honest. I mean, there's only really just like the one instance where, you know, Reply Totem lost, and that was in Cup 5 of Split 2 Cups, you know, qualifying stages in the semi-finals. That is all that is really there. And, you know, I was going to say more about the BSC, but Team Queso only were in 2 months in the BSC. They've only got one scoreline, which is relevant to this challenge season. That's against Zeta division. Everything else, there's nothing to be found because they didn't play enough.
Nice.
On paper, Queso seemed to have a tougher match, but given the stats from previous days leading up to this point in the challenge season, if you get ahead of Reply Totem early on in your match, they crumble. They either win big or they lose big. That's statistically what it's saying. So if Queso come out swinging, there's a fighting chance, Trav.
God, I wasn't expecting that to be thrown at me. I thought you were going to have to like miss stats over there. But no, I mean, is there really a chance though? Is there a chance, Team Queso?
Always a chance.
Stats from
What's
Sunny.
the chance then? What's the chance, mate?
The thing is, my stats have been lying to me today so far. Humble just beat Nouns, and then we have Zeta Division finally getting a win, and it's a 3-0 even. And Zeta looked pretty similar to Team Queso in the last few weeks, always losing 3-2 in the end, not getting a single win so far. I'm gonna say not what I think happens, but what I wish. I'm gonna say Totem loses today. Team Queso winning at 3-2.
Oh,
I was there last week. It doesn't work out. It doesn't. It's only downhill from there.
I never learned.
No, I regretted it last week. I was like, Totem are my boys. They're my goats, and it was a disaster. Nah, it's a 3-0 sweep. I feel like today is a 3-0 sweep.
Queso. It's a Queso, man.
Yeah, no, sadly not.
we got a 3-2 to Queso. We got a 3-0 Totem. Trav, what about yourself?
I'm going to have to go 3-0 Totem as well.
3-0 Totem as well. I'll join you on the Queso train then, Sunny.
Join me with the push-ups.
I will, yeah. I'll join you with the push-ups as well if we lose, if we dare to do them. So let's go through this draft. Sunny, actually, why don't you kick us off? And then once we get to the second draft, I'll send you guys next door.
Yeah, Colette on the side of Totem usually means they already win, right? We also have a Chessie Ben from the side of Team Queso. They really like the buff she got with the Hypercharge, it seems like. I don't mind even the Bell on the side of Team Queso so far. Just a lot amount of control there. And it did work out before. Kaboom Canyon is also one of those maps where you really just want to keep this bush to yourself. It's kind of your little castle. You need to protect at all times and just trickle down the save from the distance. And Team Queso has to come to do that.
Okie dokie. Well, can you and Ark please be upstanding? Go next door to the caster's desk. We're very, very excited to announce that this is the final match of day 5 of the challenge season. It's time to give the people what they want. Casters, make your way over to break the challenge season curse. Can Queso make a move? Let's find out.
No.
Yes, we can.
I mean, name a place that Queso won't bring in an Eve at this point. Kaboom Canyon, it's definitely a place where it can work, for sure. Bell, again, probably Javi going to be on it, and he does tend to tap pretty nicely with it, if it is going to be him. But, I mean, this Totem comp, how can you not love it? You know, Colette first pick. You know, that's like basically a GG, isn't it? Like, I mean, that's the Tara. I mean, if Reply Totem were able to get a team wipe and that Tara remains, save is going to be gone so quickly. The Brock as well. I mean, these are all 3 broads on the side of Reply Totem that can just end the game in seconds.
I was about to say, I need to see a bombshell come out of Team Queso right now to still turn things around here. We have so much damage output from the Terra, Brock, and Colette come from the side of Totem there. And now Team Queso going again with one of those picks that they do like to play that sometimes works out for them, not for any other team. Ember really didn't happen in the meta this season at all so far. I would love to see her thrive, but we don't really have any Hypercharge on their side as well, and it does make a tiny bit of a difference. So I'm not too sure about this Ember last pick.
I think it makes a pretty big difference. I mean, we said this last time with Queso. I don't know. I mean, Amber, no, I don't mind. It's a bit of an underrated pick, no doubt about it. I mean, already big tap, so Queso staying firm to this advance from Totem. Joker not going to connect on the right-hand side. Now he does with the gotcha gadget, but as quickly as that, actually, Reply Totem are dropping like flies and need to be a bit more cautious in this game. That's a nice rocket, though, on the left-hand side from Maori. It will clear up things. That nest egg, they're going to pop soon from Javi, and it's actually going to be Javi on the Eve, which is unusual, because Javi this year has just been changing his kind of role within the squad a little bit. Normally it was Javi always on Amber, no questions asked, and then taking a bit more of the role of Bell, and now back on the Eve. So regardless, though, it is going to be damage raining in for Team Queso. Who would have thought?
And that's the thing with Kaboom Canyon, you just need mid control, and that's exactly what Javi and Boss have been doing for the most of this time now. Black Sea coming out of spawn again, Boss as well, trying to claim back that mid control I was just talking about. Totem now standing there though, and with one single push they can already turn things around here, especially now as Joker does have Hypercharge, just needs to get another super and put it into a wall. That's happened.
Not great, is it?
Hypercharge as well. What the hell?
Really not great. That should have been better. There's no doubt about that. Big mistakes, big blunders from Reply Totem. But when you consider those things in check, it's only 6% difference. And that's kind of quite a dangerous thing to realize, you know, that you can make this many mistakes but only yet be behind by a measly 7%. It's really not much to say for itself. But with 1 minute on the clock, there's definitely a great amount of time still left in this game for either side to really extend things. And at the moment, in Team Queso's credit, it has been them that have been the more consistent and playing the better game.
To be fair, Totem would be in the lead right now if Joker didn't put that into the wall, but that even happens to the pro, so don't feel too bad if your Pro League randoms do that regularly. Maori trying to get rid of Blexi there on the left-hand side, gets taken care of himself. Mario falling as well. Joker, the last man standing all of the sudden. Team Queso still extending their lead for now. Joker does fine to take down the boss. Reply Totem has 20 seconds left on the clock now and could still be able to turn things around.
Yeah, Maru's got the rocket rain. Oh, but the pinch between Blacksy and Javi absolutely on point for the takedown of Maru. And Joker just going to walk into all those shots. That's just going to be an easy game here for Team Queso. There's not going to be anything the Reply Totem have got to say for it in the final seconds. And certainly misjudged things coming into this game. We're going to have to rethink. The set not over, of course, but that is a bad start, if not an abysmal start, really, for Reply Totem. Well, considering that first pick, Colette, that is not the way to demonstrate it.
I mean, maybe it's a bad omen at this point. You lose when you pick Colette first pick, despite being probably the strongest brawler we have right now for Heist. It doesn't work out so far for Totem as well as it didn't for Nouns Esports just before. heading into the second game now. Can Team Queso already take this first set? Would already put Trev and Ark into their spot.
Yeah, I mean, that is what's at stake here. Plenty more than just the challenge season up for grabs here. A chance to prove me and Trav wrong. Who would have thought? At the moment, though, you know, it's just Reply Totem just feeding into everything that Team Queso are bringing to the table, and they are just dropping time and time again. You can't really do that. You know, in these early outset moments, this is where you're trying to deprive your opposition of their utility and their value and giving them that early lead, and it just feels like Reply Totem are just feeding into absolutely everything.
Oh my God.
It's not great at all.
Boss doing so much work at the moment, burning down those bushes, getting the sweep of Maru, and then also putting a super onto save. So much damage now already for Team Queso, being up 30% now. Blacksea hitting those shots so constantly, getting another takedown on the right-hand side. And Boss again just timing those supers perfectly, always gets a burn out of it. Joker using his super now even defensively, doesn't find the connection. Team Queso running and getting collapse out of the save of Totem.
Just 4% damage is all that Totem have got so far, and they're just constantly a low HP, if not finding themselves on the respawn. Queso are just waiting them in the mid, and every single time, these utilities are being popped by Reply Totem at just the worst of times. I mean, Joker's going to be able to maybe get something on the save, it actually expires before he's able to get that damage off, and as quickly as that taken care of. You know, you've got to be reserveful and waiting for those moments to strike, to land the HP damage on the save that you need, and they're just going in too prematurely in that regard.
Maru on the right-hand side does have his super 20 HP though, he still gets a takedown to Robbie. So does Joker. He does find another connection on to save. Reply Totem still needs 70% though to turn things around and only have 40 seconds left to do so. Boss trickling down the last percentages of that save now. We stay with the save of Totem. Boss is still going strong there, only 6%. Doesn't take him long.
Oh, he's going to go down eventually, but 1% is all that remains. Javi will have the final blow, and it is Team Queso that start things off with a set win against Reply Totem. I didn't see it coming. I'll be honest, I didn't see it coming. But again, I don't necessarily feel like Team Queso blew me away with their gameplay. I think the Reply Totem really just disappointed me with theirs. It was just feeding time and time again, and it's just such an unusual thing to see considering how Reply Totem have been all year long. The team in this region to beat alongside Zeta, and they're just not, they're like a mere shadow of their former selves right now.
Honestly, I just love that I can say one of my favorite sentences once again. Sometimes comfort picks are more important than meta picks. And Team Queso coming up with that Eve and Ember comp make it happen in the end. They take the win over this first set already. This is probably not going to go 3-0 towards the way of Team Queso, is it? We didn't think it would happen in the humble game. It happened before, though.
At this point, who knows? I mean, who knows? This has been the wildest Snapdragon Pro Series season we've ever had. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it did go that way, and just like that one challenge day difference between me backing Team Queso and calling them my boys to, you know, ensuring it's going to be a 3-0 sweep the full of the day in favor of their opposition. I don't know anymore. It really is anyone's to guess. And I mean, one thing's for certain, though, is that Team Queso looked better than they have in previous weeks. I think that in that game, at least, Reply Totem looked the worst I've seen them over the course of the past 5 challenge days. So it's hard to tell at this point which way it's going to go.
I mean, eager to see the next matches now, after we just stated what you did. And also, so much to Hypercharge, making so much of a difference, Ark.
Well, there's a lot of Hypercharged Brawlers banned there, and I feel like that is a wise thing, because Rosa, Lou, Colette, I mean, they are all difference makers in the split. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And I stay firm. You know, for me, time and time again, the Hypercharged Brawlers are the way to go. I feel like that is where you start in your drafts at this stage in time. And certainly when it comes to the bans, you've got to start there. Gal first pick. Sonny, your face definitely made a difference there. Talk to me.
I don't love it, but I also kind of disagree with what you just said. I still feel like Hypercharge is less scary than what we were thinking at the start of the season. I don't...
There's 2 Lou bans there, Sonny.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's an emergency nerf waiting to happen.
Lou is one of those brawlers that arguably also has the strongest Hypercharge in the game that has profited from his Hypercharge change. But any other, even a Colette you saw it twice today already, can be beaten still. Now Gale is first pick. They just really don't want any tanks come out of Totem, but are they even picking up tanks in the last 2 weeks? I feel like Team Queso should have studied them a bit better.
I feel as well, like, you know, when it comes to the Hypercharge stuff, I mean, you can pick Colette first pick, but if played correctly, it should always win. It's just that today it's just been played terribly in both instances, really. But, you know, Gale first pick, I mean, It's a really bold thing to go in with, you know.
I agree.
And with Team Queso, it's much the case where they'll have these really bold moments that either just like, well, I say either do one or the other, but they tend to just kind of fall flat on their face. This is a chance really for Reply Totem to bring things back forwards a little bit here. Nita was not the pick that I'm expecting realistically to see here on Split. Rico, though, I think that despite not being necessarily a forefront meta brawler, has a good place on this map. If there's a wall break later down the lines, that can then change things. But it's normally not a bad brawler to have. I think there's just better options, and ultimately an Edgar pick into that Rico can just pretty much dismantle it, keep it irrelevant, and we do see that as a good counter coming in on a map like Split. But so far, Reply Totem greatly lacking range, and Willow coming in for Team Queso. I don't hate it, I don't mind it, it's okay, but it's definitely a bit of a weird comp.
I kind of think they dodged a bullet there. Coming out with the Gale as first pick made Reply Totem think, okay, they're probably going to go with the tank as next, simply because of that jump head. Now coming in with the Willow, I don't mind it, honestly. Not too shabby against the Nita and the Cordelius in my mind. As soon as Willow has a super, also great on Hotso in general, just putting the opponents away from the objective there. Thrower also coming in now from the side of Totem. We don't really have anything to open up the map on the side of Team Queso, so I really love that Sprout pick. We know there's this one single spot you can place your wall on the left-hand side, standing in the zone, and still don't get hit at all by your opponent. So it's not too bad that both of those teams now have a thrower in their hand. I don't mind Gale now in this combination, not too shabby against Anita, and the Cordelius is at least he has the range advantage.
It's about cycling, isn't it, with the Gale kind of jump pad approach, and you know that's the problem with it though. Is like normally you would pair it with that tanky idea, and that's what exactly you're spot on. Reply Totem thinking, hang about, we might have a tanky brawler coming in, a bull, a primo, something along those lines. So Cordelius for safety, but you know that didn't happen. But at the same time, you can launch brawlers in all you like off the back of that idea, and you're gonna go down quite quickly more often than not. But in the meanwhile, it is Boss on the Rico. That makes me really happy for Team Queso straight away because he is definitely the best man with it. So far, though, quite a close game for all intents and purposes. It's going to be a slight lead here for Team Queso as we approach sort of 23%. But having this right-hand side, they're just going to be stuck in quite nicely there, and no one's shaking him off really. Blacksea as well, doing a pretty decent job against Maru.
I absolutely love the idea of Hobby there on the right-hand side, deciding to go with a Gale jump head that faces towards the Sprout instead of putting Blacksea in a better spot to jump over the left-hand side wall to get into the zone quicker. Gets taken out there by Joker, trades him off though. Both throwers have been falling, and Team Queso already takes the right-hand side zone. Only need the left side now. Reply Totem really needs to defend it as Blacksea's coming in again.
Boss comes out on top down the right-hand side. Nicely done from him, and that wall though going to be placed actually kind of in not the best of plot spots. I mean,
yeah.
It's going to save them from Boss, but I mean, they can't really contest the zone, and that's where Reply Totem need to be capping, because it's not going to be long before then Team Queso start to approach the entirety of the left-hand side, and Mary's got Bear, but like that's not really going to be too much to have to be able to defend against this.
Hobby and Blacksea both on the left-hand side. Now they know they still need to take the left-hand side zone, and they would win it. Joker now finally with the correct placement of the wall on the right-hand side. That's exactly what I meant. Can stand in the zone, cannot be defeated. And with that, Reply Totem takes over the lead, 66 to 62% now.
Yeah, but they're like Maru's odds here against Boss, and surely it's just a matter of time before Boss can get the angle and find the final blow, but surviving on just a bit here as Javi comes in for helping hand, and Maru just eradicated immediately. And this is where Queso can kind of get stuck in a bit. Joker going to calm in now and actually tanks a bit of damage to himself, and it's going to be a little edge here for Queso as Javi just tiptoeing his way forwards as the right-hand side still very much under Boss's control.
Queso taking over the lead. Now it's Totem again with the lead, just changing back and forth here. Joker again with the perfect wall this time around though against the Willow, so he does collect some percentages. He does fall in the end there. Team Queso really needs to defend the right-hand side now though. 10% is all that Totem still needs to win this one. Boss tries to come in with a super, does manage to fall just in the nick of time of it. Joker now again with the wall, certainly going to take the last few percentages.
They've got to force this right-hand side, they really do, and they do just in the nick of time. But honestly, it wasn't a convincing game for Reply Totem. I think Queso had it in the bag as far as I was concerned for the majority of it. Just in those final moments, able to slow down that pace and land some of those Sprout walls and just try to delay the advance on that left-hand side, which, I'll be honest, a lot of the time I wasn't overly convinced that they would, but they did. And that's one on the board for Reply Totem. Can they now bring this into a set form? That is the question.
To me, it really felt like if Team Queso only put their attention onto the right-hand side in the last few seconds, they could have still win it. But Reply Totem just got to lead there in the end when it mattered. Maru trumping in very aggressively, gets taken out in the end, but trading very important for him, and still Team Queso enabled to claim some percentages on both sides. Now Boss healing up with that gadget, staying alive there against Joker.
Yeah, the follow-up shots from Joker weren't great. He would have forced out maybe his second gadget, but nonetheless, forcing out a gadget is still just that. Connection for Boss not going to happen onto Maru, because ultimately in the realm, those are moments where you're not going to be able to then get the value that you were looking for in the first place. A bit of miscommunication there, or mis-synergy between the two, but Joker's still in that zone. It's going to be thinking a bit twice about placing down the wall, as against the throw. The Willow is definitely the best at going against what he'd like to put into play. Maru, though, is actually surviving with a great amount of HP, forces out the bear, gets the takedown, and that's the left-hand side under a good amount of control for Reply Totem.
To me, it seems like Team Queso at least is contesting the left-hand side. Maru trying to go in now on the right-hand side, as they didn't really claim that many percentages on the opponent's side so far. Boss and Blacksy doing a fantastic job at keeping them in line. Totem claiming the left-hand side now, though. Only needs the right one, but so does Team Queso, also capturing their own zone.
Good hits there, both between Joker and Maru on the left-hand side, but there's so little in this. Boss surviving on here as well. Wall perfectly placed again from Joker, and that takedown so crucial there as well, to be able to ensure the capture points are going the way of Reply Totem. Harvey going to jump in as well, or considering doing so, just baits it nicely on the left-hand side as well. But Maru has got to keep up this defense, because there's still such little in it. If Harvey wins that left-hand side, it can make a difference.
Boss now still standing on the right side. No gadget though for him. Joker still with another wall in his hands. Boss with the super falls in the end. Maru still standing in his own, claiming the last percentage. And Reply Totem returns the favor, evening out the score now. 1-1 already, at least. Not a fourth 3-0. I think I wouldn't survive that.
I was literally going to say that if Reply Totem lost that set, I don't see a world that they survive the sweep, actually. So I think a really important one to get right. It wasn't as clean as it could have been, like I said earlier, but nonetheless, a win is a win. And getting that set now, tying things up, is going to be a great thing in terms of Reply Totem's mental. But realistically, that first set really was quite poor for me. The one that they absolutely should have won, because the Brawlers were pretty much their kind of idea for draft. You know, Joker's a great Colette, don't get me wrong. I mean, going back to was it Season 1 Challenge Finals? That was just like a final set for me where Joker just thrived off the back of Colette in Brawl Ball. And it's just kind of strange to see that first set, him not doing so. But that was a different set. It worked much better. I saw from Reply Totem's side a lot more patience and perseverance when it came to managing where they were going to place their time on the objectives. And ultimately, that was what gave them the win. Going into the Golden Gulch, then next for Knockout. We've already got a draft in, as both teams really want to get into the thick of things. It's going to be the Sprout, the Grey, and the Meg banned out by Team Queso. So the Nanny, the Piper, and the Mandy. Very different ideas from both sides here, banned out for Golden Gulch. And let's see who has the coin toss. But certainly, when it comes to Knockout, survivability, such a crucial thing to consider here.
Definitely, and I'm eager to see who will take the lead now. Team Queso 1-0 up in the first one now. Reply Totem claiming back and even out the score. Joker certainly is a good Colette. He's an even better Sprout though. I just want to come back quickly to that split set. The Sprout really made the difference for me there. Queso really tried to get rid of him, always putting Willow in the thrower, but Joker just placed down those walls perfectly, like 9 out of 10 times, and it worked out so beautifully. Now, good on Team Queso, banning out just that Brawler. In the hands of Totem, it can do so much. Golden Gulch, still a map though where throwers can thrive, and they left open tick with it. So yeah, no surprise there, Totem picking up the tick.
Totem left open Eve. That's the Team Queso pick all day long, and the tick into Eve is going to be not great, actually, in my opinion. Let's see. I mean, I'll be eating my words if Queso don't pick it up now. But I mean, Bell, definitely a good brawler to have. Certainly one that again can get a lot of value off the back of the reverse polarity gadget, which tends to be what the pros will pick into this kind of map and this kind of game mode now. It just kind of seems to be the way forwards. Brock going to be used for Team Queso to open things out. Let's see what the third is. If it's not Eve, there's something definitely amiss here today on the side of Reply Totem. I mean, I was already a bit taken away by the set win. This is going to be a second upset for me.
Let's see if they actually won't pick up Eve here and not make Ark happy. We usually see Eve, Ember, or Otis at least once from the side of Team Queso. Let's see with what they will go with. Deciding to break up the map here, very wise choice in my eyes, as they don't have a thrower on their own side so far. Grom would still be open and can do a decent job. But yeah, we're still waiting for the third pick for now. Bonnie. Not an Eve. It is some aggression that I was hoping for, honestly. It does have some range when they try to break up the map. I don't hate it.
No, I like it. I'm just like surprised.
Okay, good.
But certainly, I mean, Bonnie, I mean, it works really, really well. I mean, it's the tick as well. Last hurrah going to be their defensive measure for Reply Totem. No doubt about that. But certainly, you know, not a bad draft at all, actually, for Team Queso. I'm really liking it much more to what Reply Totem have. This third and final pick might sway me a bit if it's something tanky. Pam. I mean, that is actually not a bad brawler. It's not a bad brawler. The Bell now makes a bit more sense because that might have been the countermeasure had they shown that hand too early. Not many people really drafting Pam in Knockout at the minute. I don't really know why, because Pam is in such a strong place. Meta-wise, I mean, this is the best she's ever been, really. I mean, certainly now since the buff to the pet power gear as well coming into the play, and that's just made Pam even better as a mythic gear too. I mean, so much going for her, but they've got to make it work as well. And for all intensive purposes, Team Queso are still a bit more out in front than Reply Totem are in my eyes.
That's even more survivability to that tick as well. They can just chill in the turret of Pam and survive throughout the whole game, unless until the smoke comes in, where the Reply Totem's comp is going to thrive even more with the Pam. So they can just wait it out, still decide to go in very aggressively right from the get-go. Black Sea trying to open up the map to get rid of the tick and try to return the favor in playing aggressive. They do actually manage to get the first takedown there. Maori falls 2v3 for Team Queso.
And you're absolutely right. You know, Pam, for survivability, is the best brawler to bring in, but not if you go down in the earliest possible moments. Not the best of starts, a terrible start, actually, for Reply Totem. Great hacks, use of the gadget there from Boss as well, and it's just going to be as easy as that. Again, in these early moments where these game modes really do matter to survive in the early outs, as we saw in Heist, Reply Totem just fed in to Team Queso, and it just seems that same story happening again so far.
The thing is, Reply Totems comes really, really strong in overtime thanks to the Pam, but they wanted to get in right from the get-go in the action just so they can still use the walls that were still there from the get-go. So I don't mind the idea that Reply Totem had, I see you, but it just didn't work out at all in the end. They just got beaten in the first round already. Team Queso now all have super in their hands as well, which is going to hurt Totem even more.
Yeah, I understand Maori wanting to get, super as soon as possible, but, you do need to have that for when the gas comes in. Ultimately, though, giving it around straight off the bat, not fantastic stuff, but they're playing it much more the way you need to play it now, and just gradually getting all members of their team just having super to hand. The gas not going to be too far away now as these shots will ricochet between Black Sea and Javi. There's the reverse polarity there from Joker as he tries to make a connection, can't quite find it though. Mari now has the healing station, and it's going to go down. That could force out a jump from Javi, but everyone is full HP. Tickhead now coming in as well. Black Sea low, the jump is there for Javi, he's actually still alive, and Mari might fall here as well. As quickly as that, Team Queso also low, but they're all going to stay standing bar that one player, and that is going to be a game going their way.
I was about to call that end way earlier than what I saw. The tick still surviving in the end, but it still wasn't enough. And 1v3 with a tick, not something I would like to do in an open map. It didn't work out for Totem this time around. Team Queso about to get their second lead today already. Definitely not something we saw in coming arc.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, they're taking my words personal, and I like it. That's why I try to bring it out of these teams, just trying to get them on the board, try and give them the best possible chance at proving me wrong. I mean, it might just be working. I'll take full credit. If there's a win here today, you're welcome, Team Queso. But, to their credit, the draft is on point, and it's really just, drawing out the mistakes from Reply Totem, and I love it for that reason. Let's see, though, whether they'll have some of those mistakes be learned this time round. Again, connections from Boss on point, and watch out for that gadget. It's so devastating. Landing that hacks can just be the difference maker in these earlier moments of knockout.
Wait a second, wasn't I the only person that was still saying Team Queso wins today?
Don't remember that.
Okay. We have Black Sea distributing some taps onto Mari as to fall back to heal up there on the top right-hand side. Javi already with super, just waiting for overtime now. When the smoke comes in, he can do even more, separating Mari from the other bunch, or getting Mari low and get the takedown in the end. Mari is one shot, but gets the takedown onto Javi in the end. The tickhead done its deed. Boss now falling as well. 1v2 for Black Sea.
That was really nice there between Maru and Joker, because that could have gone badly. Certainly so when the first kill was there, and fortunately off the back of it, they were just able to ensure that Maru's survivability was in check, and the follow-up bell shots as well from Joker really landed the punch and had to, because in those moments it can really go from bad to worse, and that's the first round that Reply Totem had in this set. So let's see what the response will be from Team Queso, because they have been playing it for the most part better, and that's the first sign of weakness.
Blexy out of gadgets, can't open up the map anymore now, just relying on his supers now, gets the takedown on tomorrow. Just 3v2 situation once again. Team Queso certainly can and maybe will turn things around here. Now getting the round win would be so important for them as they would still take the lead over Reply Totem now. Pam Mari with a super though, will he decide to use it is the question.
I'm surprised they haven't, to be honest, because if they don't, and this round is gone, it's you know, it's putting it into a big spot for the final one to go the way of Team Queso. And I mean, they obviously want to reserve it and save it, and I just don't know whether that's the right call. I would just like lay it down, gone, you know what, this is where we're going to bring it around. You know, 2 versus 3, but this can be done with the heels at the back of the station. They chose to keep it, so I really hope for their sake that it brings home the goods in this round. Otherwise, it's going to be a set going the way of Queso.
I think they just didn't want to risk anything. Probably if they got one takedown onto Team Queso, they would have placed down the turret, but didn't end up doing it, so in the end, great shots coming in here. The turret already one shot. Boss being marked up by Joker though will play a huge role in the end there. Not as tanky anymore on his RT. Hobby being tapped up there on the top left hand side as well. Has to fall back, has to heal up. So does Totem. Pretty much just a standoff at the moment.
And Mari there was definitely playing a dicey game as the jump in there from Javi's there. The tick head going to come in as well, but taken down very, very quickly. And look at that from Black Sea. That was huge. And what can really Joker do now is the 3 versus 1? Nothing at all. Team Queso will take yet another set.
That was huge. Another great jump from Javi this time around, evading the ticket, not falling himself, but getting a double takedown with some help from Blax's super there with his Brock. Such a good set overall for Team Queso, playing it very slowly, so composure was certainly there. They didn't want to risk too much. I felt like in Kaboom, what was the second map? The second map was kind of split. They kind of went too creative with their comp once again, and that's exactly why Team Queso loses so often in a 3-2. They start winning, and then they get a bit too excited, it feels like.
Yeah, for me, Team Queso win today. They absolutely win. I mean,
Can you say that again?
Coming into today, there was no way that they should win this. And Reply Totem were playing abysmal. It's not bad, it's terrible, Sonny. Reply Totem really at the moment are just not the same team. And I don't think that Queso are playing insanely better than we saw in previous challenge days. I genuinely don't. The drafts, however, are better. I mean, Blacksy for me, that was an absolute MVP on that Brock pick. A brawler which, for all intents and purposes, shouldn't really get as much value as that. I mean, it was definitely decent, but nonetheless, I mean, he was just landing double kill after double kill, which is a rare thing in a game mode like Knockout. But that's the thing. Reply Totem are just not playing the objective in pretty much every instance. I mean, we saw it in Hot Zone, but Heist, not playing the objective. Back then as well. In Knockout, no objective to be seen. In Gem Grab, they've got to start to value the very thing that gets them a set win. If they get through this mode, maybe they'll be able to turn us around, but already the Rosa ban, Sandy, the Grey, all good bans, Sagan.
So in short, you were wrong. Thank you. That's all I needed to hear.
It's not over yet. It's not over yet.
It's not over yet. I don't want to get
But Reply Totem are playing badly. They're playing badly.
They are. I agree with you. At the same time, after the win of Zeta Division today in a 3-0 sweep, after the win of Humble against Nouns of all teams, 3-0 sweep as well, I felt like today might be Team Queso's day, and they also had some time to learn from their mistakes in the past. I really hope we're not going to go all the way to the last set, though. Now, Team Queso needs to make it count, otherwise I really don't see them win in the 5th and last set, because that's not what Team Queso does.
You love 3-2, Sonny. They're your favourite thing in the SPS. There's nothing you love more than a match that goes to the 5th and final set.
I'm happy it's not a 3-0 sweep. I'm already satisfied. Finish it right now, Team Queso. Going in with the M's as first pick, I love it on double swoosh, just so much speed thanks to the gear as well. Jessie, probably one of the best mids at the moment actually on this map. I see her face, you're probably not that big of a fan, but with the hypercharge, she can make it work even more so.
I agree. I mean, it's certainly been the staple die in the North American region, and one that Reply Totem tend to mirror quite a lot, and that Drake has a big influence in terms of their drafting, but it's just a product that takes so long to get hypercharge, you know. I mean, it's one of my favorite hypercharges actually. I mean, I was playing it on day one and just loving it in Heist, but in Double Swoosh, I mean, it's definitely going to be one of those brawlers where I think that if Team Queso's communication is on point to get rid of that healing, get rid of the turret as quickly as they can, it might not bring in as much value. And we're going to come in for Reply Totem. Love that pick. The M's as well, I mean, it is going to be really, really solid. The Jessie, I don't mind. It can be really, really good, but it's just simply that in terms of like a hypercharged brawler, not going to bring in the most amount of bang for your buck.
The Team Queso tried it before last week. It went really wrong. I remember that game against Humble where Luka just evaded those incoming Maisie supers. I can see the same thing happening now. I do like that they get creative once again, but this is exactly what happens. Team Queso wins a set and then decides to go with, we're going to win anyways. Let's go with something new, with something fresh. Let's try Maisie. And I'm really not sure if it's going to work out. Squeak comes in at last pick here from Totem, and this I would have already liked better. Against the Chessie turret, Squeak would have been so strong on the side of Team Queso.
Now, Sonny, let's not doubt the favourites here. But to be honest, Macy's not terrible here. I know, but it's again just a brawl that I will just never be excited by. I'm still waiting for that moment where someone is going to blow me away with back-to-back supers. And to be fair, Macy has a good charge rate from hypercharge. To the arguably, well, I think actually not arguably, I think Jessie is the worst brawler to bounce off to get that hypercharge in the first place. Macy can just cycle it nicely. That is the one saving grace of it as far as I'm concerned at the moment. But to be played in mid, so I mean, if Boss is able to get the gadget at the right timing with a super, I mean, look at that again. Reply Totem just running in. Like, you can't do that. You've got to play these early moments a bit slower, gain back a bit more control over the game before you go in uber aggressive with a not very aggressive comp.
Joker falling there right from the get-go. Mara finds the kill onto Blacksea. Arguably, I would take the Crow-Ember matchup any day here. Crow just a lot of a better matchup. With Boss now falling, dropping the gems, Murray picking them up. They're giving Reply Totem the chance to turn things around, but honestly, I don't think they deserve it. Team Queso just made a big mistake right there.
If they made a mistake, then Reply Totem deserved the goods on the back of it, but there's still plenty of time for Reply Totem to make mistakes as they have been doing so today. Boss slowed there though, and Maori going to be able to get some very consistent taps. Boss goes in, finds a connection there with the Joker, but the slow is all it's going to really be of a troublesome thing for Reply Totem, and just the one gem away from Countdown, having to die at the worst possible time, leaving just Boss and Blacksea, and there is the turret finally showing its form, and Boss just going to be suppressed for that very reason. It's going to be a game, and the convincing one going the way of Reply Totem. Yes, the mistake came from Queso, but following the back of that blunder, they did everything right.
If you look back onto match day, what was it, 3 or 4? I was so mad at Team Queso for throwing their opportunity to finally win a match in this one. And now I can feel myself going back into that mindset. Honestly, they had a 5-0 lead. Boss going in despite his teammate being down, losing the gems. And then Totem has the best comp possibly to just get them, keep them out of mid there. Javi can't really play on the right-hand side. At the same time, Maru, Crow against Ember has the better matchup, and Squeak doing so much work there on the left-hand side. It doesn't even matter what Boss and Joker do in mid.
Yeah, honestly, 3-2 scorelines are like the very bane of the existence of Team Queso. They've had so many over the challenge season years. It really is one of these things where Queso just can't close a lot of the time, and that just feels to me like to be their biggest weakness. But at the moment is Reply Totem that have got some momentum now in this series. Gems though, 2 to the floor. Joker going to pick up 1, and there's going to be a burn there from Blacksea. Does just about find a connection onto Joker there, so going to be slower heals on that side as the right-hand side lane very much under Blacksea's control here, getting more continuous burn, and that's going to come back full circle and not really leave anywhere for a Reply Totem to hide.
Boss at the moment just trying to help Javi on the left-hand side. Blacksea struggling a tad bit against Maru on the right-hand side as well, but Team Queso this time around still hold on to the leads they had at the start. Now with Blacksea falling on the right-hand side though, Maru just waiting for the opportunity to jump onto Boss. I can see that one incoming. Reply Totem claims back the lead and also the mid control.
Huge connections here from Maori on this left-hand side. It's just forcing everyone to the right, and that's where Joker finds the pickup. Boss, though, still holding on to those gems for now, and Hypercharge here could be a big play, but that's a really important tap just to slow the advance. Nonetheless, though, Boss is a huge threat, but so far not really finding any value off the back of this. He's got to make this Hypercharge count, and this is the time for it. Going in, gets the takedown, but can't find the shots into Joker. One will find, though, however, but not really enough. It will give them positioning power in the mid for now, and as quickly as that, Maori coming straight off the back of things and using that invincibility to his advantage. 9 gems though now for Team Queso, and this could be Countdown.
Let's not get overexcited though. Boss with 9 gems now only needs to pick up 1 more. Reply Totem can't even equalize. He does get the 10th gem, does get the takedown onto Joker there. Javi at the top. Says Maru still firmly in its grip, and all 3 members of Reply Totem suddenly falling. Need the takedown onto Boss though. They know he's on the left hand side. Maru with a jump though. It's gonna come in, but way too late. Team Queso evening out things in gem grab.
Not just evening out things, but match point for Team Queso. I mean, this is the moment really for them to prove us all wrong, because it's been a long time coming. You know, it really has. Just the one win in Season 3, and so far, Challenge Day 5 today, and not a single win on the board. This is their time. They cannot mess up this game. It's going to be going the way, the goods to reap the rewards for Team Queso, or Reply Totem bringing it to a 5th and final set. And that is where Team Queso have never really been able to close it.
And what can I say? The stats never lie, but they do if I say so. Team Queso might be able to get another win on the table and still wouldn't be out of this completely. Boss doing so much work on Maisie. I don't mind to pick in his hands, honestly. Push back all the way into spawn now, though. Reply Totem have one of the best comps you can have with the Crow and Squeak, just to keep them in the spawn at all costs. And they're doing a phenomenal job right now at that.
Love the lane swap. Neymar on the left-hand side getting a ton of value, and jumping back though, I'm not too sure. He's staying alive though, that's the main thing, as Boss goes in, does find Joker and gets the slow, gets the gems drop most importantly, and Maori not going to overstay his welcome there, just takes the 4 back as opposed to the 5, but Javi might, if you get just a bit overly aggressive on this right-hand side, feed it back over. Let's see, though, as Boss still in the middle with Super as well, and that, again, is a great time to have it. Hypercharge now as well, so if he heals up off the back of this, that can be a game-changing moment.
Double tap though, Joker gets his Super, trying to get rid of it now, Blacksea, but doesn't manage to do so, still healing up from the side of Joker, and Boss. Slowed once again, can't really do much in mid at the moment, can't claim any of those gems that are dropping, all on the side of Joker now. 6 to 7 gems though.
Maori! Oh, 76 HP!
Almost falling, but still alive there on the right-hand side.
Only just, I mean, that was overly aggressive if I've ever seen it, but Boss, 18 HP, might be dropping even more here. He's going to find a 7, but it's 7 to 8, he'll go down, but Javi is just going to leave them. Yeah, I think he probably should, but he's got to be very careful going back into this mid, and Reply Totem now, 1 gem away, and that forces the gems into Javi's hands. Huge connections from Joker, Hypercharge as well available, turret going down now, and this is where Reply Totem, for all intents and purposes, should be coming out on top.
No Super coming out of Boss there. He could have found the connection onto Joker, but probably didn't know he was just standing there. Javi now claiming the last 2 gems. Again, countdown is there for Team Queso. Can they manage to pull off a 3-1 against Reply Totem? Boss pushing up there, trying to get rid of Maru with his Super. He could have still turned things around, but the Crow has been falling. Boss now still aggressive, so does Blacksea, and Totem doesn't find the connection with Javi. Team Queso did it! 3-1. I knew you could do it. Trev, what are you saying? 3 or for Totem or what?
They've done it. They've finally done it.
We can all die happy.
Set the confetti off. Let's get them a cake, some sprinklers, because they've finally broken the lost streak. Team Queso, I mean, maybe one person in the world thought they could do it, and the name's Sunny. But, and Banks. Right? 2 people in the world thought they could do it. And it's Sunny and Banks. But, I mean, to be honest, Ark's been ripping into Totem this game. And I think you're being too harsh. I think you've just got to give big credit to Team Queso.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love Totem, but I'm so happy right now. Finally, Team Queso, thank you for believing in yourself. I believed in you from the get-go.
Believing in you.
You can do it, mate. Yeah, Team Queso are my boys. They have no chance probably to still make it into the finals, but...
That's the real question, though, isn't it? So much has to align. All the stars have to align if we're going to have Team Queso in the Challenge Finals. But at least they've put their foot in the right direction at the beginning of the week when we have 3 back-to-back days to close out the Challenge season. You know what? Team Queso live to fight another day. Just about. Reply Totem, Ark, you didn't really want to give Queso a lot of kind of props for that because Reply Totem just played that badly, according to you.
Just to be clear, okay, I'm not trying to take away anything from Team Queso. They got the win. I'm happy for them. Again,
like
I said all along,
didn't
I say all along that I was doing it just to give them a bit of a kick. They needed to have those words said to be able to fight back because they were just showing us nothing. But I disagree. I don't think
I'm sure as your words every single day for the past like
Reply
6 months that made them win today.
They did not show up today. Reply Totem did not show up, and you cannot deny that. I feel like, you know, for a team that have been, in my opinion, neck and neck that #1 seed with Zeta all year long. I mean, those 2 teams at the moment, it's just no like kind of secret at this point. They're not playing the best and how we expect them to perform. And, you know, again, I'm happy for Team Queso. It's been a long time coming. They've broken a bit of the streak, but I just don't think that we saw enough from Reply Totem, at least to satisfy me.
I said earlier as well, Reply Totem have had lots of peaks and lots of troughs throughout this challenge season. Today was a trough, but to add on to that, a little tag, I guess the thing to take away from today's matchups is don't bet against Sunny and Barney, aka Sarni, when it comes to the predictions, which is also
I love that.
You know what I mean? Which is you know, it's a turn of phrase in British culture for sandwich, and we all love sandwiches.
Yeah.
So let's move on from that and have a look at our leaderboard. At the end of day 5 of the challenge season, this is how the leaderboard stands going into our final 2 days of competition. One of the biggest surprises, was it Humble 3-0ing the leaders at the time, Nouns Esports, or was it Queso taking out Reply Totem? Trav, what do you think?
I think Humble. I mean, it's got to be. I think it's got to be Humble beating Nouns Esports, putting themselves on, you know, equal stance on this leaderboard as well. They might be down there in third, but it's all joint for first right at that point. Bottom 3 as well, 1-4, 1-4, and 1-4. SK sitting all the way at the bottom now, and I mean, they're just not looking great at the moment, and now their chances are just pretty much gone for that challenge finals. And you know, I think it was me who said last week that I think they were going to claw it all the way back. I mean, how shortly lived that dream was.
It's looking like Reply Totem and VN Esporting are going to have this kind of duel to try and see who claims 4th place at this point. But remember, we still have 2 matches left to go for every single one of our teams that are still competing. And if for any reason you've missed out on any of the matches today, you want to catch up on any of the highlights, and again, like I said earlier, if you want to see Ark's face on your feed, then make sure you follow ESL Mobile on socials. Check out the lower third for your chosen platform and give us a follow because we're worth it. I'm not going to say what that's from. Hey, so now I would like to tag on to that it seems like some teams were more prepared coming into this. What I said at the very beginning of the show, we've had the weekend for a lot of them to kind of gather their thoughts, to kind of recap themselves, and to just come into this with a different mindset, especially the ones who are towards the lower portion of the board. Do you feel like Queso really switched things up? Do you feel like today was just their day? Or are you going to side with Ark and just say that Reply Totem fell apart?
I think it's a bit of a mixture, to be fair. I think there's definitely a bit of a mixture in there in terms of Reply Totem not playing to the best of their abilities, and obviously that's the case. And it's the same with Zeta Division as well, you know, like an SK game, and all these teams heading to World Finals, and they're just looking pretty awful right now, and it's not really a great sign, is it? But I think at the same time, you know, the teams who did win today are looking good as well as the teams who lost looking bad, and I think it's just that bit of a balance.
It is indeed.
So objective. I love it.
Yeah. Sonny, what's your biggest surprise of the day so far? We've had Humble, we've had Queso, Zeta putting points on the board. What's been your favorite thing to see on the screen?
In a way, what I already said over at the desk, that the stats usually don't lie. But today, everything has been turned upside down except the game of Fut Esports, where Zeta Division and Team Queso, where we thought they're done for, they can't come back from this one. Both won their match finally, and both in a 3-0 and 3-1 fashion. Very strong from those two. Might also be because the other team started to underestimate them. And then we go back to, you just need to prepare for your matches. Nouns Esports, they might not have seen Humble as big of a opponent as Fut Esports the week before, and it shows.
It does show indeed. Well, we have our schedule that we're going to be able to show you on our screens very, very shortly. Well, it's right now, and I want Ark to take us through it. Which of these matches are kind of must-wins? Which of these really are going to test, you know, these final matches to see who can structure this leaderboard in their favor to go through to the challenge finals?
I think for me, very important matches here for Reply Totem and VN Esporting here. You know, against Nouns was the first matchup. Nouns versus VN Esporting, you know, that's one that VN Esporting really do need to win. For Reply Totem versus Fut, that is one that Reply Totem really need to win. For SK Gaming, of course, you know, I mean, they have to win that. I'm not necessarily too sure on their chances now, but that's got to be a win for them. And Humble versus Zeta still out the day. I mean, you know, Humble, if they lose that, might then fall back a little bit. So they've got to keep that level of consistency from them. And again, for Zeta, I mean, you know, how their chances fare now, I mean, I just don't see it.
Yeah. I just want to say as well, I think there's 3 qualifying games in there, because none of the teams who are 4-1 are playing against each other. And if you hit 5, that's the magic number. So we could have, at the end of next play day, 3 of the teams could have already punched the tickets to the challenge finals, and only 1 more could remain.
Something that I'm feeling very tentative about tomorrow is how are Queso going to fare against SK Gaming, who are down and not quite out, but Queso seemed to be coming off a pretty strong win today and at least putting some points on the board, getting that morale boost up. That's going to be a possibly interesting match. I know Trav probably have some words to say about that tomorrow, but Sonny, any final thoughts from today? What are you really excited for tomorrow?
It just made me really scared tomorrow.
I know.
This game is going to rip my heart out. SK versus Team Queso, both of them not really looking the best, and both of those teams that I usually kind of want to give a boost, and I'm happy for both of those teams if they finally win a game. Yeah, so tomorrow is my answer.
Battle at the bottom.
The battle at the bottom.
returns.
Arc, do you think that Zeta can somehow pull it back? Is there going to be a miracle move that's going to happen tomorrow?
I don't know at this point. this season has really just turned on its head, as I said earlier, plenty of times. I mean, these teams just are not looking themselves. And I don't know why that is, whether they're just kind of so fixated on Worlds, or whether that pressure of Worlds is starting to get to them slightly, and kind of maybe they're looking ahead as to their opposition, you know, further afield as opposed to their own region. I'm not too sure. But nonetheless, you just can't deny that it is a factor here. And I think for Zeta and, you know, for SK, they really do need to prove to the world at this stage in the competition that they have got what it takes in the World Finals as well. You don't want to be going into the World Finals looking weak, and at the moment, they just are.
Trav, we're still touching on expectations for tomorrow. Nouns Esports, are they going to be able to bounce back from a loss as, you know, as drastic as today has been?
Yeah, I think they will. I think they're in a pretty good position, to be honest with you. Like, regardless of losing, right? Regardless of losing, they're still joint first. Like, they're
worse.
You know, there's worse positions to be in, aka, you know, the three at the bottom. Just it's better to be joint first than joint last.
That's, yeah, quote that. We'll quote that for later on. Well, I guess there's nothing left to say, but thank you so much for watching today's Day 5 of the Challenge season. It's been absolute corker. Thank you so much to production, to my fellow talent, and thank you so much to all the players for all of your hard work. But most of all, thank you so much to all the viewers at home for watching, supporting all your favorite teams. Like we've already mentioned, we have 2 matches remaining for each of our teams, and it's going to get so spicy over the next 2 days. You're not going to want to miss it. So we're going to be back here at the same time, same place. My name's Barney. We'll see you tomorrow.
Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. I don't got the time, put me in, coach. I've been going hard, time to let it show. Everything raw, give it to me now. Let me have the spot, man, it's going down. Gotta get it here, I don't wanna wait. Take what I want, then I go train. Gotta get a win, I won't lose the game. This is my year, I ain't gonna break. Strap in, cause it's gonna be a long ride. Working on me every single day and night. There comes a time when your worlds will collide. If it's holding you back, push it right to the side.
On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal.
Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here.
On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal.
Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. I don't got the time, put me in, coach. I've been going hard, time to let it show. Everything raw, give it to me now. Let me have the spot, man, it's going down. Gotta get it here, I don't wanna wait. Take what I want, then I go train. Gotta get a win, I won't lose the game. This is my year, I ain't gonna break. Strap in, cause it's gonna be a long ride. Working on me every single day and night. There comes a time when your worlds will collide. If it's holding you back, push it right to the side.
On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle.
I gotta get it, I'm on the mission. Snap any minute, casually winning. Stop tripping on me, stop dissing on me. I got a dream, can't take it from me. My fire's burning, I'm always learning. Tell me where to go, man, I'm on a journey. I can't explain it, I get excited. Keep it 300, King Leonidas. Strap in, cause it's gonna be a long ride. Working on me every single day and night. There comes a time when your worlds will collide. If it's holding you back, push it right to the side. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. I don't got the time, put me in, coach. I've been going hard, time to let it show. Everything raw, give it to me now. Let me have the spot, man, it's going down. Gotta get it here, I don't wanna wait. Take what I want, then I go train. Gotta get a win, I won't lose the game. This is my year, I ain't gonna break. Strap in, cause it's gonna be a long ride. Working on me every single day and night. There comes a time when your worlds will collide. If it's holding you back, push it right to the side.
On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal.
Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here.
On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal.
Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here.
Welcome to the place where dreams come true, where everything you want can be yours, if and only if you're willing to work for them, you're willing to hurt for them, but most of all, you're willing to be first for them. Ha! Look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop, like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting, it's hot. Look what I got, whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success is insane. Stay out my lane, cause I'm on a mission. I'm getting what stands in my way. Yeah, I'm a beast, I wouldn't play with me, baby. The way that I'm training is crazy and I do it daily. You wanna talk about drive? I got more drive than Mercedes, I've never been lazy. I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete, well get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha, yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Ha, yeah, I gotta be first. Look, I don't want anyone's sympathy. I understand what it's meant for me. I give my focus and energy. If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But mentally I'm undefeated. They hear that and say I'm conceited. Like there's no reason. Like I don't beat them and come back again just to teach them that when you work under pressure, you reach higher measures. They'll try and bring you down, but you cannot let them, and only get better and focus on cheddar. Eye on the prize and you'll become a legend. Like, when I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete, well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt. Push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test. Like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed. So now let me flex. Yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt. Cause I know my worth. And I gotta be first. Yeah, I gotta be first. They don't know what's gotten into me. How'd I turn pain into energy? Through all the struggle and hurt, remember my worth, and that's why I gotta be first.
faded. I'm on the mission, snap any minute, casually winning. Stop tripping on me, stop dissing on me. Yeah, I got a dream, can't take it from me. My fire's burning, I'm always learning. Tell me where to go, man, I'm on a journey. Yeah, I can't explain it, I get excited. Keep it 300, King Leonidas. Strap in, cause it's gonna be a long ride. Working on me every single day and night. There comes a time when your worlds will collide. If it's holding you back, push it right to the side. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. I don't got the time, put me in, coach. I've been going hard, time to let it show. Everything raw, give it to me now. Let me have the spot, man, it's going down. Gotta get it here, I don't wanna wait. Take what I want, then I go train. Gotta get a win, I won't lose the game. This is my year, I ain't gonna break. Strap in, cause it's gonna be a long ride. Working on me every single day and night. There comes a time when your worlds will collide. If it's holding you back, push it right to the side.
On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal.
Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here.
On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal.
Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here.
Welcome to the place where dreams come true, where everything you want can be yours, if and only if you're willing to work for them, you're willing to hurt for them, but most of all, you're willing to be first for them. Ha! Look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop, like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting, it's hot. Look what I got, whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success is insane. Stay out my lane, cause I'm on a mission. I'm getting what stands in my way. Yeah, I'm a beast, I wouldn't play with me, baby. The way that I'm training is crazy and I do it daily. You wanna talk about drive? I got more drive than Mercedes, I've never been lazy. I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete, well get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha, yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Ha, yeah, I gotta be first. Look, I don't want anyone's sympathy. I understand what it's meant for me. I give my focus and energy. If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But mentally, I'm undefeated. They hear that and say I'm conceited. Like there's no reason. Like I don't beat them and come back again just to teach them that when you work under pressure, you reach higher measures. They'll try and bring you down, but you cannot let them, and only get better and focus on cheddar. Eye on the prize and you'll become a legend. Like, when I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete, well get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha, yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt. Cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Yeah, I gotta be first. They don't know what's gotten into me, how'd I turn pain into energy. Through all the struggle and hurt, remember my worth, and that's why I gotta be first.